Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 4K Kings. This week, we will be covering Miami Connection, a sincere apology to Bruce Willis. We'll be discussing the state of physical media, a little bit of a review of the Batman, and we're gonna go a little hard on Will Smith. We're gonna do a career retrospective.
Will Smith sucks. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, Russ.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Hello. Feels like it's been a little while. Hope everyone is doing okay. Hope you all missed us, and here we are. For everybody that's returning, thank you for coming back. Thanks for waiting on us to put out some fresh, spicy physical media content for everybody this week. For all of our fans out there and folks that continue to come back week over week, thank you for doing so. Thanks for liking and commenting and really keeping this channel alive, because I think you guys are doing most of the work. Yes. If you are new, welcome. Thanks for checking us out. Apparently, still about 50% of the people that watch this have not subscribed. So 50% of you out there that are watching this right now haven't clicked that button for whatever reason.
It's a button. Just click it.
I mean, I was going to say no big deal, but really it is a big deal. Just click the button. And if you are watching us now on YouTube right now, this is also up on our Spotify channel. So if you want to hear this whole conversation unedited, it is up there now. If you want to listen to Russ and I in the car and listen to us there on your way to work or to pick up the kids, whatever it might be.
Kidnap some kids.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this on Spotify, come check us out on YouTube. We'll be putting up clips of this entire conversation throughout the next week or so. Last week, we covered the Godfather release. I hadn't received mine yet, but we talked about the quality of the release. We looked at the screenshots of that, so if you haven't checked out that yet, go for it. We also covered pretty much all the beginning sort of Batman movies, from at least the 2 Tim Burton and the 3 Christopher Nolan, when Zavi decided to, bless us all with another great round of releases for those films. We took a look at those. Scream 2020, Russ gave us his review on that, and we also talked about... Oh, that's right, 2020. Where am I at? 2020.
Living in the past.
I am. Scream 2022. And then also Scream Queen, the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 documentary, which is getting great praise, not only from you, but other people that are out there that are commenting as well. People seem to really love that documentary. Thank you for sharing that with the world, Russ.
You're welcome, Matt.
That is high praise. This week, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the state of physical media in general, how everything's going. Are we doing okay? Do we like it? Do we not like it anymore? There's been so many things that have been going on in this community lately that we want to share our love of the hobby as well. Miami Connection, 4K, we're going to talk about. We are going to kind of give a little mea culpa to Bruce Willis for a second, and Russ is going to talk about the Batman, which I'm surprised he decided to even go see. I'm sure most of you out there are surprised too. If you've been keeping up with any of the Batman stuff we've talked about, I'm pretty sure Russ has taken every opportunity to say the new Batman is just the same thing over again, and who cares, and yada yada.
You're going to be surprised. I'm going to remove my comic book fatigue bias, and I'm going to be as objective as possible with this film.
Okay. So before we get started, just a few updates to cover, some updates on previous stories that we've talked about here. First off, Russ, you were spotted in the wild, were you not?
I was.
Yes.
Have we not recorded?
No. I think you have to.
Wow.
You have to give a shout out.
I don't remember the guy's name.
Two of our
it's like Americano.
Yeah, 2 of our loyal subscribers happened to see you at work, and
they
surprised you
did.
indeed.
Very nice. That has never happened before to me. I was caught off guard. I felt like I came across like a tool.
Probably awkward as shit.
A little bit. I didn't know what to say. I was just kind of sitting there like, so what bit do you guys like?
Yeah.
Which segment you like? Nah, but you two were both very sweet.
I'm sorry I wasn't there to meet you also. It sounds like you were both.
Well, they did tell me they didn't give a fuck about you.
I know. But thank you also for commenting after and reminding Russ of your visit.
I know, great taste. Come visit me again. If anybody, it's too personal.
I was gonna say, any other local fans out there?
I just moved to this area and I don't know anyone, so
come and be Russ's friend.
I'm begging for friends on this channel now. Basically, come see the Batman with me.
This is like a personal ad now. This channel's become Russ's personal ads. Yeah, so that was pretty wild. I just thought I would share that we are actually seeing people out, which is pretty nuts.
And it was great. Feel free.
Feel free
to
say hi.
Approach me.
Yeah, awesome. The one thing that we talked about last week, which was Godfather in 4K, and we, like I had mentioned, I hadn't received mine. Well, I have received it now. I have it. And I want to say for everybody out there who has been following along on this, or watched any of the original videos we put out when this release was announced, that I went and I got the deluxe version. And the sole reason that anyone can go back and look and see why I wanted this specifically was for the hard box for my shelf. Yes. The hard box for my shelf. Just like the old DVD set that had a nice hard box, everything was in there. It was nice. It fit perfectly. I didn't want the sort of, not chintzy, but just like a regular, slip over top, a regular case, whatever it might be for this new release. I wanted the hardy, nice, hard-looking, beautiful box that's going to fit beautifully on my shelf.
What did you get?
Well, I don't know if there was some specifications or anything that was put out there prior to purchasing it. Probably there was on Amazon if you dug deep enough, and I didn't really dig that deep. I just saw it and bought it. So to my surprise, when it showed up, I got this.
Wow.
Gigantic, it's like the size of a vinyl clamshell. I don't know what you would call this. This thing is massive, and I feel like an asshole. Like, I'm not gonna even lie. Like, when I saw this show up in this gigantic box, I was just like dumbfounded. I was like, I wanted something nice for my shelf. I don't even know where I'm going to put this. I haven't opened it. I have no idea what's in here. I'm feeling like I'm going to be embarrassed when I open this.
I think Mario Puzo's in there.
His ashes are in here. Everybody gets a little.
Oh shit, he's dead.
Maybe not. Sorry, Mario, if you're out there, drop us a like and a comment. But I'm feeling like when I open this, and I have no idea what's in this. I have a feeling when I open this, it's not going to be all the movies in a case. It's going to be in some embarrassing flip book that I'm going to have to go and retrieve this giant thing and pull these movies out whenever I want to go put them in. And that really bothers me. You can. I mean, it's of good quality. I mean, I can feel the weight to it.
I hear, you know what I will say, and I'm with you. Like, why don't they take into consideration? We all have shelves. We don't have
I partially blame myself because I should have maybe known. But when you look at screenshots, I don't feel like it's immediately apparent that the shit's that big.
I didn't, and we do a channel covering physical media.
I don't think
so. This either. But I will say, if you're gonna do something like this, the Godfather films are something worthy of it.
Yeah,
the Godfather films are worthy to annoy you with crazy packaging.
It makes sense that this is what it is. The more I sat and stewed on it a little bit more, but I just feel like an idiot that now the whole reason I bought this is like just out the window.
Look at the spine. It doesn't even say anything on the spine. So even if you had this on display on your massive bookshelf, I guess you would put this on
wherever that's going to go.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know, dude. I mean, the back.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's like, what the? like you're going to forget this.
I know. Look at this thing. So here, let's open it up. Let's see what's inside. Because what I'm thinking now, what I think I'm reading on the back is that these like art prints that come with it are ready to be framed. Like, it's not some like Arrow, Zavvi, like little just throwaway insert type jobs. It's like, here are these beautiful pictures that we want you to frame because you love The Godfather.
Well, you did buy the deluxe edition.
I really thought I was getting something else. I know. I feel like an asshole. I mean, it's really nice.
I know. That's why I'm trying to
feel that. Feel it. It feels good. Like, it's nice.
Wow. Yeah,
it's like, it's rich.
Nice. The texture, everything. That's very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's nice and rich. Now let's open it up and let's see what's going on in here. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a magnetized.
You know what's funny? I just picked up. Oh, right off the bat.
Right off the bat. The movies are in the box loose. Oh.
All of them are? Or did they just fall out?
Oh, dude, I don't know.
What?
All right, so we got a bonus disc. And another bonus disc
that had to have fallen out of the book.
I mean,
it did.
The fact that it did.
Look at where you put your discs in. It's an entire page of one of these annoying like little flap slots that you slip it in.
You guys, I'm so annoyed.
Can we get this?
Oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed.
There it is. Man, I don't want to ruin your deluxe set. You take this out of my hands,
Can you hold
Matt.
the pictures for a second?
I will
Can
do
I
that.
just...
I don't know if you're going to frame these. I don't want to get any fingerprints on them.
Who else out there got one of these? Let us know immediately. Let me know your experience. I mean,
Wait, how many discs come in this set?
A lot.
Oh, okay. So
it's a lot.
2 fell out.
It's a legit hardback book that as I turn it, it's like, beautiful pages. I'll hold this up in a second, but it's like beautiful pages and beautiful pictures. And the presentation of this book is very nice. It really is. It's a great book. It's big. Pictures are great. I'm going to really sit down and probably look at this later. But the problem is that when you get to the back of this book, it's where all the movies go in what? What is it?
And think about it like this. If you're
just the digital code for answer the call?
Well, they did right there. And if you think about this too, so every time you want to go watch these films, you're going to have to open this book, turn all the way to the back and pull them out. You're going to destroy that book. That spine is going to get so...
The book,
it's going to...
Yeah. They should be two separate things. The book should be its own thing. This should be... Okay, so here, let me just hold this up. So the movies are in these back pockets, as you see, Russ. These back pockets of this really nice book. And again, the book is super nice. Let me just try to open up a couple pages here. I don't know. I mean... Yeah, it's like it's a really nice, well done. The pictures look great. The color's great. Like it's really nice and really well done. The front cover's like embossed a little bit. It's like kind of like the words are a little glossy. I mean, it's super well done. Now let me see my art prints, Russ.
There you go, man. Enjoy.
So we have a nice. I can appreciate the tissue paper over top to keep
that tissue paper on top. Cost you an extra $7 on this set.
At least. Here's Brando, looking nice here. Take a look at that, Russ. De Niro.
These are nice. These are like those things you get from a kiosk at the mall. These are very classy.
I'm honestly not mad at all at the things that have come with it. This, although you're right, Russ, this is like one of those things like where you might frame these and you might put these up.
Nobody's framing them.
They're nice and they look like they're well done. That book is really nice and well done. My main gripe is just how the actual movies are like an afterthought in this box set. It's
just
like
miniaturize it. Give me the 5x7s of Vito, Michael, and young Vito.
I know. So in total, it's an interesting box set. It's very nice. It's expensive, obviously, for a reason, and it's pissing me off that those movies are like that, and I'm going to have to probably put that behind us and just come over and visit with it whenever I want to put one of those movies on. But anyway, that's my Godfather collection, Russ. Which one are you picking up?
I'm definitely not getting that one.
No. Okay, so anyway, now that embarrassment's over, Second Sight. Drive. We talked about this a little while ago. They finally, I feel like this news is old as well because we haven't been on since this came out. It feels like almost like a week and a half ago at this point. I think this news came out almost the day after we filmed last. They are putting out their box set for Drive. They finally showed some of the details and the packaging and everything else. And it looks, again, like they are really upping the game for what packaging should look like for movies like this. I feel like
it does. It looks so nice. I wish I was a bigger fan of this movie because that set is that's great. It's
a really nice looking set for and I think it really fits the movie really well. Everything that they've done with it here. As far as the film itself, it's getting a new 4K master. So we looked at the German release and I was kind of complaining about that it looked a little yellow and you thought that looked really good, but this is getting a new 4K master, which is produced by the original post-production company, apparently, and then approved by the director. So this is the one to see. So we'll see what they originally intended and if it should be that yellow Sicario look or the good old regular Drive look. I don't know what other look there is, but I guess we'll find out. But it is Dolby Vision. It's HDR, Dolby Atmos sound, all that kind of stuff. There's a new commentary with the director, Nicholas Winding Refn.
Just roll with it.
Riffin. Craig Riskin. Tim Richards. A new interview with the editor, which I think that's pretty. I mean, this movie is like got a really interesting like rhythm to it. And I'd be curious to kind of hear like their take on how they put this movie together and what their notes were from Refn, or if they just did their own thing.
Did they get the composer or the guy who wrote the
Kavinsky? No, but
I want a commentary with him talking like that.
I mean,
I wrote this song for the intro and it fit the movie real well. Just an entire commentary.
No,
Ryan Gosling did an excellent job in this scene.
I can already hear it. Honestly, Russ, that's my only gripe with this box set, because despite the fact that there's all that stuff that I just mentioned, including a new video essay and some 70-minute like conversation with the director, like all this cool supplemental stuff, the one thing that this is missing is the soundtrack, which I feel like would have been incredible.
It would have been, because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Drive, but I like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I listen to those songs more than I dug the movie.
Yeah, dude, that would have been incredible. I think that would have pushed me over the edge for getting it. Like that, the soundtrack came with The Guest, and that's a cool soundtrack too. But this is like a soundtrack for this is a soundtrack that
hits. Not only that,
hits, Russ. There's hits.
It's got hits. It slaps. Not only that though, but it's so like intrinsically attached to the movie.
Yeah, it is.
I mean that. Yeah,
you can't have one without the other for sure.
Yes, we're not going to hear those songs pop up in other movies.
No, those songs are for this movie only. But the box set itself, if you look at it, as soon as I saw it, I immediately like clicked every button to get to the pre-order. I was like, oh my god, this looks great. It almost looks 3D, doesn't it? Doesn't that stuff look like it's popping off the page and popping off the box? It comes with a 240-page hardback book with essays, stills, and all this kind of stuff. The original novel, Drive, 7 art cards, and this premium box, which if it's anything like The Guest, it's going to be incredible. I have no idea what's not to love about this, except for the fact that when I clicked all the buttons to get to the pre-order, I had it in my cart, and I literally almost hit buy until I saw that it was going to run me close to $100. The box set itself was, at the time, and it might have come down now, but at the time it was like $69.99, something 70 something maybe.
That's not bad.
American, and then 20 plus for shipping from the UK. So it was getting me closer. It was like 96 and change, I think, by the time all was said and done. I just pulled back. I couldn't do it all the way, because I do love this movie, and man, that set is really cool. But
I'm blown away that you just said it's based on a novel.
I didn't know that either. It says that the Drive, unless it's
there's like barely any words in this movie.
It says the Drive novel is being included here. Yeah, and it's got a really cool, art style. The hammer, the scorpion from his jacket, his car, little timer, like little clock. It's all really well done. I think it looks great. I don't know if like Diabolic DVD. I think some other people might have had this on pre-order, and maybe you could have got it for cheaper shipping and cheaper altogether. But I just couldn't pull that trigger on $100.
Well, fun fact, ever since The Godfather released, this box is actually about 2 feet tall by 3 feet wide. I just keep that in mind if you decide to pre-order.
I'm going to need to look at all box specs from now on every purchase I make, dude. Like, what an asshole. God damn it. I'm so pissed off. So, yeah. Second Sight Drive, if you have the means and this is something that you're interested in, definitely get it. I might, if it's still available, like The Guest is still available. So this might sell out. Maybe it won't.
This is a bigger movie than The Guest.
I know, though. And you're right. And I think like what you're looking at here, it's a no-brainer probably just to get this. I'm going to miss on it, I suppose. But anyway, it's coming out May 30th. Check it out. Awesome. Another story that we covered, Out of the Blue, Russ. Out of the Blue.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So Out of the Blue was coming out from Severin in the US, and they were getting this 2-disc treatment with like it was a Blu-ray, but it was coming from a 4K scan, and it was 15 hours of bonus footage and all this stuff based on a Kickstarter, and we covered that little gem of a movie real briefly. But it turns out from the time that we covered that till now, the Kickstarter campaign or whoever is mostly involved with this has decided to produce a 4K disc now and make it a 3-disc version, which contains the 4-disc, the Blu-ray, and the other, or I guess the bonus disc Blu-ray. So it's like a 3-disc version. This is coming out in at the end of like May or something. The one we already covered is already out.
Oh, I know. I received it.
So now there's
That's what I'm saying. I know where you're going with this.
So, yeah.
And they did not send any emails
They didn't.
out.
It was like last minute.
I read about it. They threw out something like, okay, yeah, you can upgrade. I'm like, wait, this is scheduled to arrive at my house tomorrow.
Yeah. It was
like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, dude. It was completely like out of the blue.
It was out of the blue.
Perfect. It was out of the blue. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, dude, I don't know if you had bought it or hadn't yet. I just saw that story. I was like, man, that's crazy because they really did just decide, like, all right, we're just going to make this 4K instead.
And when companies do this, now I'm pissed off to watch it.
Yeah.
Now I'm pissed off to watch it.
Yeah.
I literally, it came in the mail this week.
Can you just return it? Return to sender?
Probably I'd have to pay shipping
something.
and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, why
Yeah,
don't you
sucks.
just get your shit together, figure out what you're doing in the beginning and put that out, or give me the option of it. There's no way in hell you guys put this out on a standard blue and had no inkling that, hey, this 4K is around the corner. There's talk of it. There's support of it. You knew. Like, stop. Just wait. Even if you would push back the standard a month or so, just do that.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It does. It's a little cheesy or cheap feeling. It's like you said, like there's no internal discussion about this at all. Like it didn't just come out of the blue for them. Like they've at least been. You couldn't just at least throw that out there. Is that for the sole purpose of trying to just get more money, or like what do you think that is? I feel like there should be a little bit of backlash on that. I don't know.
I mean, I know this movie was very hard to piece together to get a release of. Maybe it was something that just came out last minute. I'll give Severin the benefit of the doubt because I like what they do. I've never really. You typically see this more with Arrow.
Well, speaking of, and that's actually the next thing I wanted to mention because again, it smells the exact same and it's shitty, and that's Arrow has decided that they're going to be putting back out their limited edition releases of True Romance. Not only their regular release, but their Steelbook, the limited version, like literally every version that they had in the UK that we all salivated over and like killed ourselves over. The channel almost broke down. One of our fans had to send us a version of it so that we would keep on going. Like literally that drama has occurred for them to just say, you know what? Here you go. Like have it again. And I feel like in the same thing that you said, I don't know that I've seen this, and I'm sure this has happened before. I just don't remember when. You know, it was like UK release only, and everyone thought it was just going to be UK, and then all of a sudden here comes to the US. Mm-hmm. Again, is there a heads up or not? Like maybe they never knew they were going to get those rights. Maybe they were fighting for it and they didn't want to say anything, but it still feels cheap to me.
And imagine all the Europeans we're robbing.
Yeah.
we're stealing all these. We're thinking it's just going to be over there.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me get that before they get their European paws all over it. And then they do this. So I invite everybody living in Europe, please buy the shit out of this one. And we can just play games back and forth, I guess, with Zavi.
I know, dude. I don't know. What do you think? Do you feel like there should have been a heads up, or is this just kind of like a thing that
I think
stings?
this was business because it's True Romance. They knew this was going to go immediately. Why tell everyone? Like, let everybody sell this out quick and then we'll put it out again. And it will sell out quick again in North America.
Yeah.
So smart, but it sucks for us.
I know. What does that do for, not that I care about this at all, but I mean, you know, like the value of anything that's even called limited. I mean, it's like when things can just come out again, they
can hide behind the region.
Yeah, right. They can hide behind it, but it just sucks. I mean, you know, there's people that probably look at these as like, maybe I'm going to flip these at some point or whatever. Especially like I said, I don't care about that, but that messes that up for them.
People do that regardless. It doesn't fit with region.
That messes up the resale market. I guess who cares about that?
Well, especially, even if they hide behind the region aspect of it, 4Ks are region free, so we can't even do that anymore. If it's standard blues, I kind of get it because not everybody has a universal player, you know? But with 4K, this is the same exact thing, probably just without the European rating code on it.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
But Mark, you are not getting it back.
Speaking of European rating codes, I got my Green Mile in the mail, and it was the Zavi like collector's edition one, and it had the rating codes on the front box, and I was so pissed. But then I looked, and they were stickers, and they peeled off. I was like, they should do this from now on. Why wouldn't they just let you peel them off then?
What if some innocent child just stumbles upon your copy of Green Mile and gets ruined for life by Sam Rockwell? You better keep that rating on there, man.
Keep that on there. Oh, and the other thing that Arrow, who cares? They're also throwing out Tremors in 4K. Like
That
there's
shit is ugly.
Zavvi exclusive steelbook. So if you wanted a steelbook version of Tremors, you can get it. But you're right, Russ. This is fucking ugly as shit.
I wouldn't even guess that was Tremors.
Even the title treatment,
I can't read it.
Even the title treatment sucks. The picture of the graboid sucks. This illustration of them on the sales sucks. I mean, it just sucks. I don't like it.
I feel like there's more people on that hill that were even in the movie.
We're gonna count them.
I see Reba. I see Mr. Gross.
Hey, Gross. There he is.
I see Bacon. I see Ward. I see whatever the lead female. Did she ever do anything after this movie? Actually, I don't see Egg Shen.
I think Egg Shen dies before this, but they put him in. Isn't that him right there?
Maybe. Who cares?
Yeah. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on with Arrow and Zavvi and a couple of other stories that are coming around there. It is bad.
It looks like Dune. Oh, that's probably why they're doing it.
It could be. Yeah, maybe you're right. They gotta get some Dune tie-in in there.
This was rejected cover art that somebody did for Dune.
This
for
is Dune
Zavvi.
Light.
And I'm like, well, shit. What are we gonna do? We commissioned this. All right, give it Trevor Steelbook.
This is the more accessible Dune with Kevin Bacon in where are they? Arkansas. So those are all kind of just a couple of updates that from stuff that we had covered previously, but we did
bad updates.
All very bad news for everyone. But we did, before we got into any other physical media news or otherwise, I felt like it was only appropriate that we send our heartfelt apologies and thoughts out to our good friend of the show, Bruce Willis.
Definitely.
I know that there's been some tragic news that's been shared about Bruce Willis, and I know that we have had our fun at poking at his movie posters and some of his work of later years, but always in jest. And I think we always mention what big fans in general we are of Bruce Willis. And it actually bummed me out when I read that news about, what's going on with him.
We wouldn't have done those if we weren't fans.
Yeah.
I mean, and to us, and I think to many other people, it looked like he was just entering a stage in his career where like I even said to you I said, we could have easily done this with Morgan Freeman. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of actors who were like, once they hit that age, it's just a paycheck. And that's what we assumed. And we assumed he was very unenthusiastic about it all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in light of that news, obviously we did not mean to make fun of somebody's illness. And we're going to keep his name out our fucking mouths.
Yeah. Red Letter Media did, though. They knew all along what was wrong with him. Oh, yeah. And they decided to do it anyway.
Red Letter Media not only knew all along about his health condition, I mean, they ripped us off. They're just bad people in general.
In general. They knew, and then they ripped us off. So I blame them for all this. But
I do too.
But in all honesty, yeah, I mean, it does. It sucks. Yeah. I was like bummed out when I heard I think someone actually on our page mentioned and dropped a comment on that video and was just like, hey, I was on like a recent set, and it feels like he might have dementia. And I was kind of like taken back by that for a second. Like, damn, if that's true, that's just shitty. I mean, that's like a horrible...
That's a horrible...
It's a horrible
disease.
Thing.
It's
horrible,
just to become a shell of a person. I don't wish that on anyone. No. That's a terrible thing to go through.
Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Yeah, of course, dude. Hey, our thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Willis, his family.
To me, everyone.
You've given us decades of entertainment. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And the Razzies, they rescinded that thing that they were going to like have a whole category of his for this year. They rescinded that back.
They should.
And they should. That was nice. And you know what else was kind of nice I saw? John Travolta, he did a nice post on Instagram for Bruce Willis. And it was like a picture of them kind of like chilling from back in the day or whatever. I guess they had just had Pulp Fiction and Look Who's Talking. And years later, I guess they ran into each other. And Bruce said to John Travolta, John, I just want you to know that when something good happens to you, I feel like it's happening to me. And that's how generous of a soul he was. And I love you, Bruce. Or he is. He still is. He's still with us, of course. Yeah, look, and there's kind of like a funny picture of him and Demi and Kelly Preston, rest in peace, and John Travolta.
You know what I want to hear or see? I want to hear or see Kevin Smith talk about this.
He did apologize too. He put something out, or did he apologize? I think he did something where he like. I mean, I feel made like amends with Bruce I was about to say.
Willis. I feel like if they said he's been dealing with this for as long as he has been, Cop Out would have been at least on the cusp of it.
Yeah, here it is. He apologized to him.
That's cool.
Oh wow, he actually looks really upset. I don't know if is it a video? Long before any of the cop-out stuff, I was a big Bruce Willis fan, so this is really heartbreaking to read. He loved to act and sing, and the loss of that has to be devastating for him. I feel like an asshole for my petty complaints from 2010. So sorry to Bruce Willis and his family.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It sucks. It really is. I mean, it puts a lot of things in perspective.
And I don't mean to like single out Kevin Smith, but he was very vocal about blaming Bruce for that film.
Yep.
And to me, honestly, even back then, to me, it always felt kind of like, all right, if Kevin Smith, I know he goes out there and he does his evenings, he tours.
His little stories and stuff.
And that's kind of his shtick. He's going to tell you these kinds of stories. But even that one, I always felt like first off, I always felt like if there's somebody in the room who's directing an action picture, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If you guys are making an action movie, I'm going to trust Bruce Willis more than Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Even if Kevin Smith's the director. What did Kevin Smith do prior to Cop Out? Like, I would defer to Bruce Willis if I were him.
Yeah, because he's the professional, and Kevin Smith has just watched action movies.
Yeah, Bruce Willis has knocked out about 50 action movies before he stepped onto your set.
Right.
And it always just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, dude, stop gossiping about it. Like, it was always so, I don't know. I shouldn't pile on Kevin Smith. That's cool what he did.
Yeah.
And again, kind of like what we were doing, it was ultimately harmless what he was, but that's I don't know. It's nice to see.
No, for sure. And just looking back, I kind of was thinking after reading this on some of my favorite Bruce Willis movies and just kind of looking back on his filmography and just some of the stuff that he has, graced us with over the years. And
that's not his.
Yeah, that's but one of the first ones that comes to mind, even I know Die Hard is the thing that everyone just is going to go to, and I want to say that aside. I mean, obviously that's it's a staple in our history in cinema. But look who's talking. I mean, the man, and here's why I say that. Why I think that this is a really great Bruce Willis movie, even though he's not even in it. This man's voice and his whimsical nature and the cadence of his voice and the way that he brings energy to a performance back in those days, which is what made him a star. He was able to do all of those things from a baby's body and still make the movie compelling with his performance. And I feel like that is, I mean, people look at that movie like, oh, that was cute. That was from our childhood, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like, where's his Oscar?
Where's his Oscar?
I mean, no, come on. Like that.
I will say, to your point, what's really funny about that is that he has done voice acting over animation. He did Over the Hedge, and it does. For some reason, I've seen parts of Over the Hedge, and yes, it works way better in Look Who's Talking.
I don't know why, but dude, it's just like it just works. Like his interpretation of what a baby would be thinking or going through.
He wrote it,
dude. Like when
he ad-libbed the entire thing.
It was great. I don't know.
It was one big improv scene.
Yeah, I mean,
in the recording booth that day.
Yeah, to think that's like one of his not like earliest movies, but Blind Date. I remember watching Blind Date on HBO.
I do too. Yeah, I remember
John Larroquette, Kim Basinger.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching that.
All right, man. Well, let's run through it. Just quick thoughts. Die Hard, classic.
Obviously.
Look Who's Talking, a classic to you.
Classic.
Die Hard 2, I stick up for Die Hard 2 more than any other Die Hard sequel. It feels like Die Hard. The other sequels do not. Look Who's Talking 2, I'll let you speak on that, Matt.
I've never seen Look Who's Talking 2. I've only seen Look Who's Talking.
Dude, he reprised one of his greatest roles of all time.
I know. I know Look Who's Talking now. I didn't do that.
Oh, that's the one with the dogs, isn't it? Did he come back for that one?
Like a toaster talks.
I think even he saw. He drew a line there. He's like, wait, dogs talking? This is ridiculous. I'm out.
And then
even Abe Vigoda walked.
You can't pay me enough to come back for this. Hudson Hawk, I never saw. I feel like that's peak Willis in a way, like of this era. Am I like that style of like character?
It's a musical, right?
I mean, no, it's not. It
is. He sings in it.
How many times?
They're like doing heists and all that, and he just starts breaking out into singing.
I don't know,
is
dude.
peak Willis.
It's
as
peak
far
Willis.
as that's Bruce Willis as who he was in 1990 or whatever.
Peak 90s Willis. For sure. That's like, I feel like that's him having fun. That's him doing it.
Willis.
Like, what's the movie you like, Last Boy Scout, right? Not that they're the same movie, but when I see Bruce Willis in a trailer for either one of those, I get that he seems like a similar guy. Am I wrong?
For what? What do you mean?
In Hudson Hawk and in
Last Boy Scout?
Yes.
Wait, no, you were completely wrong.
His look is just as a character, he's different.
Completely.
I just feel like he looks the
Hudson
same.
Hawk,
I don't know, what is it?
Dude, Hudson Hawk.
He's like disheveled. No?
No, Hudson Hawk, he's like this upbeat, like he's the cool guy. And it's so No, that's what's weird about
what's
Hudson Hawk. Watch it, dude. It doesn't work at all. But it's like him. He's singing. He's got the hat on. He's the coolest guy. Dude, Last Boy Scout, he's a burnout, depressed. He hates life. All that shit's the exact opposite.
All right, I don't know anything about Bruce Willis. I'm sorry, Bruce.
Just stick to Look Who's Talking.
Yes, I've got
so next, Last Boy Scout.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my favorite
one of your
movies
favorites?
of all time, honestly. If I had to do a top 3 Bruce Willis, Last Boy Scout, maybe number 1.
Okay.
I know you're a fan of Altman's The Player.
I love The Player, and I think it's funny as hell when he shows up in it because they
cool.
they refer to Bruce Willis a couple of times as being like the typical guy that would show up at the end of this movie that they're trying to make, but they want it to be independent and they want like no-name actors to be in it, and I don't want you guys casting Bruce Willis and like I forget some of the other people they were mentioning, but like he ends up in it anyway, and he's actually in it at the end, and he has like a cool ass line.
Death Becomes Her. I love this film. I love him in it. I was shocked that like he is very funny in that movie, and he's funny. Not cool. He's like older and he's emasculated by both of these women. It's not a typical, and he sold it, man. He did it.
Yeah, it's against type a little, but it works. You're right. It does work. I mean, we've talked about Pulp Fiction like 1,000 times.
I've seen Striking Distance.
I've
seen Color of... Dude, I was a Bruce Willis fan growing
up.
These movies played on cable when I was a kid all the time. It's like, dude, it's John McClane. I'm watching this.
Pittsburgh Police Homicide Detective Thomas Hardy.
They're bad movies, don't get me wrong.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
I've seen them.
Sarah Jessica Parker. And who else is in the Striking Distance? Here we go. Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore doesn't even remember he was in that.
I like Die Hard with a Vengeance, but you're right. It's not Die Hard anymore, but I like it as a movie.
I may be incorrect, but I thought I read once that it was a rejected Lethal Weapon sequel.
It is. It's a rejected something that they repurposed as a Die Hard film. Yeah. But it's not Die Hard, but it's a cool movie.
It's all right.
He could be named anything else other than John McClane.
Oh, here's what's funny.
And it'd have been cool.
Exactly. Fine. And there's a big difference in the John McClane of Die Hard with a Vengeance versus the first two, right? The John McClane and Die Hard with a Vengeance, that's closer to Last Boy Scout. That is more, and even Last Boy Scout's way more morose, but that's a closer comparison.
I like that.
He is hilarious in 4 Rooms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like he's himself or something in 4 Rooms.
He is hilarious in 4 Rooms.
Definitely.
12 Monkeys. He didn't have the show or your role. Everyone thinks Pitt first, but I mean, he grounded it. He's the main character. It's a good movie.
He sold it.
Yeah.
He sold it. He does his thing. I mean, and it's a movie to be taken seriously still. I mean, he's still at this point taking on roles that people are interested in and they are interesting. What did he do that was anything close to 12 Monkeys? Before, but nothing. I mean, that was like such a random off-the-cuff sort of thing for him, right?
But close after 12 Monkeys, Fifth Element. I feel like
Fifth Element.
He always flirted with sci-fi in his own way.
I forgot about The Jackal with Richard Gere. I was trying to remember who was in that with him.
Jack Black was in it, wasn't
Armageddon?
Or was he in Mercury Rise? Let's skip that.
Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin. But Armageddon, dude, I mean, that was like, not a resurgence for him, but that was a big movie that he was attached to. Look at him there.
Definitely not a resurgence.
Look at him there. I mean, I guess The Fifth Element was a pretty big hit for him, and 12 Monkeys, 4 Rooms, I heard with it. Yeah, I mean, every year he probably had something good going on.
Dude, he was on fire. And you know what I loved about him, especially in the 90s? He took chances.
Yeah, Sixth Sense. I mean, that's why I said, like, there's movies in here that are definitely...
M. Night Shyamalan did nothing at that point. And that Sixth Sense, if you read that script... Like, imagine that script coming to you in 1998 and you read it. Are you picturing Bruce Willis as the psychologist, child psychologist? You're not,
No.
And he was great in it.
He was.
He was great.
He was. And you're right. Like, look, just going from there back, like Sixth Sense.
You could tell, and this is what I always gave him respect on. He was one of those movie stars where he went where that director's talented. Let me work with Gilliam. For 12 Monkeys, Reservoir Dogs. Okay, let me get with that guy, that newcomer who's going to do Pulp Fiction, And
the projects always worked, too. It wasn't like a risk he took that failed. Like, these so far were all good, like risks to take.
The Sixth Sense was a roll of the dice, and wow, that paid off beautifully for everyone.
Other than Unbreakable, which we talked about a bunch of times, I don't know that I got into a whole lot of 2000s Bruce Willis. Like, I definitely didn't see any of the Whole 9 Yards, Whole 10 Yards, any of these movies.
The Whole 9 Yards isn't bad. It's all right.
Yeah, I never saw those, and I'm just looking here. Like, I saw Sin City, but most of these are just not movies that I saw. I haven't seen any of these, really.
I mean, I've seen it.
Some of these don't seem like big
watch,
roles. Voice role, uncredited, cameo. Like, I'm not sure if he had really big roles, maybe.
I mean, I did watch 16 Blocks.
Did you?
Yeah.
You said Over the Hedge is a voice role?
Yeah, I don't even remember why.
Oh, then the Die Hard repeats start coming. Live Free or Die Hard.
That's the worst Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's even worse than the fifth one, which I admit the fifth one is a worse movie objectively, but Live Free or Die Hard is more offensive.
Yeah, and then there's some like Wes Anderson stuff, and then it just starts.
You know what? That's really cool. I forgot he came up he appeared in Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah.
So you got to think he may have been suffering even in 2012. And Wes Anderson, why are you laughing, motherfucker?
I mean, are you making a joke about Moonrise Kingdom at
No,
Bruce Willis' expense?
I'm saying that's really cool that Wes Anderson. Come on, when you think Wes Anderson, Bruce Willis doesn't pop in your head. There's 15 other actors that he uses all the time that come in first. And just to give him, again, like you're saying, let me put you in this movie that you're not typically in these kinds of movies. And I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Is he good in it?
Yeah, he's good in it. He is good in it. But what's kind of weird, and it looks like in 2018, they roasted him on Comedy Central. And if he had been suffering at that point, like, isn't that kind of fucked up? Like, I don't know if he was or wasn't, or what, or maybe it really got bad after this point, but to roast the guy.
Or, he could be like, let's just keep it rolling.
Let's just keep it rolling. Do whatever. I mean,
you know
would his family know? I mean, that's terrible.
There's people who suffer, and it's like they don't want that attention on that. They just want to look at me the way you see me, and maybe he was in that phase still.
Well, in the past, after all those movies that we loved and loved him in, after the past like 10 years, he's put out 36 direct-to-video movies in the past 10, and he's got 9 currently in post-production. So who knows what's going to happen with those? I mean, I don't know if they're going to come out.
That's true. After announcing that, what is the fate of these movies that are in post-production? I mean,
who knows? Who knows what's going to happen to them? But yeah, there's a bunch that, look, you can see there are a ton just direct-to-video that some haven't even come out yet. So I don't know if he still has involvement in them or what's got to go on, but
he was in the Lego movie too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so yeah, it's a shame because now this is obviously the end of his career in general, and like even like Kevin Smith said, which is kind of sad. Like he loved to sing, he loved to entertain. Like the dude, for how corny maybe some of the music endeavors that I personally felt were. I mean, there's obviously an audience for it. To know that this is passions that this man has had in his lifetime, it's now like all over in such like a horrible way. It's bumming me out, you guys. It's bumming me out.
It is sad.
So, love you, Bruce.
We do.
Love you to me. Hope everything goes well.
Definitely. No more Name That Willis.
No more Name That Willis.
It's not funny at all if it's at someone's expense. When they're dealing with a condition.
Well said, Russ.
Now to Will Smith.
Yeah, so let's lighten up a little bit here, and let's talk about one of your favorite films that's getting an incredible release, and that is out on May 31st on 4K Ultra HD from Vinegar Syndrome, and that is Miami Connection.
I'm calling it now. This is the release of the year.
This looks like a pretty badass release. I'm not going to lie. This looks like a pretty good release.
What I love, I picked up New York Ninja recently, and New York Ninja was like your Godfather said. It's a clamshell thing, but get this, it actually fits on my shelf. It's incredible. I love that. No, it is, but it's awesome. And it you pull it up, it's got you pull it out, it has a slipcase with and Miami Connection. It looks like they're doing the same thing. It's definitely the same artist doing the cover art for both.
And I kind of like that Miami Connection cover. I feel like it's an interesting update to what they already had. And they're giving you the old cover too. Yeah, I think that's in there also.
I mean, let's face it, with a movie like Miami Connection, you can't go wrong doing anything. I'll look at any...
Look how badass they're trying to make everyone on that cover.
Everyone is badass in this movie.
I mean, they're really making them look like badass.
Tough guys. Come on.
So for anyone that doesn't know about this movie, because I'm going to let Russ gush for a while, because this is, but I want to go over the release too. But I at least wanted to read the synopsis, what they give you as the plot synopsis, because I never personally read it, and I've seen this movie. I know, but I never read the synopsis, and it's funny the way that they describe this movie. I think so. The year is 1987. Motorcycle ninjas tighten their grip on Florida's narcotics trade, viciously annihilating anyone who dares move in on their turf. Multinational martial arts rock band Dragon Sound have had enough and embark on a roundhouse wreck wave of crime-crushing justice.
Wait a second. Dragon Sound's multinational? Why are they playing local bars in Miami?
You can't question this synopsis.
That's
Russ.
right.
You just have to go with
there's
it.
nothing wrong.
Can't
This is Miami Connection.
You
10
can't
out of
question
10.
it.
You're right. I'm sorry.
When not chasing beach bunnies or performing their hit song Against the Ninja, Mark, played by Taekwondo master and inspirational speaker YK Kim, and the boys are kicking and chopping at the drug world's smelliest underbelly. It'll take every ounce of their blood and courage, but Dragon Sound can't stop until they've completely destroyed the dealers, the drunk bikers, the kill-crazy ninjas, the middle-aged thugs, the stupid cocaine,
Middle-aged thugs,
and the entire Miami Connection. I mean, if you're not going to buy that movie based on that synopsis alone, then you should just turn this off right now. I mean, don't even keep watching this video.
Listen, let's just get it out of the way. It's the best bad movie ever made.
Does it surpass The Room?
It surpasses and you know I'm a big fan.
I know
of
you
The
are.
Room.
That's why I asked.
I've met Tommy Wiseau, a huge fan of The Room. What Miami Connection does better than The Room is that The Room has moments where you're kind of like, oh God, this is just really bad. Miami Connection works as a movie from beginning to end, and it's just insanely tone deaf and bad, but it's hilarious. There's not one scene you won't laugh at. Not one. I can't think of a scene in this movie that isn't funny, where you can watch a bad movie and all that, but it's almost like there are punchlines within how bad this is. This is one of those where it's like, damn, you guys really inadvertently crafted the perfect comedy.
Inadvertently is a great word, and it's so crazy how that even happened. Like you said, every scene being funny, but not being meant to be.
And it's crazy because if you watch it, like The Room, it has plot holes. It doesn't make sense. A fucking dude comes in at the end where they basically switch actors. Miami Connection has an internal logic. It works. I mean, as far as the plot goes and all that, it's resolved in the end. Like every character has their own motivation. It stays true. It's just ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I like how the movie like wears its heart on its sleeve a little bit. I think it definitely has heart, and whether or not it's the person that's making the film that is putting the heart into it, or it's just the people that are there that are really just are having a great time. You can just tell.
And that's why it's a great cult movie.
Yeah, you can
That's where the love comes in. It's like if you watch Miami Connection or The Room, if you're somebody like me who loves these types of movies, where you're laughing at it a bit, but after about your third viewing, you're grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for Tommy. It's like, I want to be your friend now.
Yeah.
Yes, it was something you did not intend, but you have brought me so much joy. I am a fan now. I'm not laughing at you anymore. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing when that works.
It is. I agree. And I've seen this, and I had a lot of fun with it too. And this set looks incredible. And I'm curious to know your thoughts on one aspect of this. So it says that this is coming in a 3-disc edition, Miami Connection in 4K, Miami Connection on Blu, and then Escape from Miami on Blu, which is the long-lost pre-release version, which features numerous additional and extended scenes, as well as a different ending. Have you heard of this? Have you seen? It's like watching a whole new movie, basically.
Well, what's funny, it's like the way you just described it, it was long lost. That was the same thing with the movie we all know right now.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Yeah, like, wasn't it lost somewhere?
Yeah, it came out in 1987. It basically played for like a weekend at maybe like 2 movie theaters. They saw the reaction. Everyone in the theaters were laughing, and they were just like, let's put that to the side.
Yeah.
Never talk about it again.
Never.
In the early 2000s, somebody found a print. I believe it started at the Alamo Drafthouse, but they started playing it as a midnight movie, and word started to spread like, dude, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it came out in 87. Basically, it's unearthed, and it just kind of caught on that way. Caught on. Nobody really still knows this, but we're pushing this.
Yeah.
I want people to know this.
Definitely.
Buy this set. Buy this one.
I mean, it looks incredible.
Does it come with the soundtrack?
So let's see. So first of all, you've never seen this alternate cut. No one's seen it.
No.
Like this is just.
I don't know.
I know this is exclusive to this release, but I didn't know if it was like
It's
somewhere
not on
else.
No, it's not on the Alamo Drafthouse
on like
release.
YouTube or something weird. No. Okay. So
it may be. I've never dug that deep.
it
But
says home video debut. So this will be brand new for everybody. It's an exclusive 4K restoration from the Unearthed Negative HDR color grade, feature-length commentary from YK Kim and Joseph Diamond, a new extensive making of documentary with new interviews and cast and crew, some of whom have never been interviewed before, which
Mullet
is also
dude's gotta be there.
which is also a Vinegar Syndrome release. He's got to be. Come on, dude. He's like the face of the band. He's got to be there.
he was the only dude who could actually play the instruments.
Dude, yeah, and he was rocking, dude. If that's his real voice singing, I'm assuming it is. Like, that's a great song.
If nobody's seen this, if you're going to check this movie out, out based on our words. Please watch whenever there's like 2 live performances from the band in the movie. Watch YK Kim. It is so funny. He's got a bass guitar. He's like not even playing
Doesn't
it.
know
half
what
the
he's
time.
doing at all.
Hold it up. Oh, dude.
He clearly
so
doesn't even
great.
know how to hold an instrument.
It's he could kick some ass, but yeah, he's not a musician.
No, but that's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
A brand new documentary, and it says extensive. It doesn't say full length. It says extensive, which I'll take it. A making of Miami Connection, another documentary that was already on there before, 20 minutes long. Dragon Sound reunion concert.
Oh.
2 archival YK Kim promo videos and reversible artwork. So
Actually, that Dragon Sound reunion concert was on the one that already exists. But
So, dude, this is like incredible. Plus, the art looks badass. The original art, I feel like, is classic. But it is. It's great.
I in my office at home, I have the Miami Connection 11x17 hung up framed.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's
classic.
perfect.
It's
Yeah.
classic. The soundtrack, and let's talk about the music for a second.
Absolutely.
Because yes, it is so corny. Even for the 80s, it's in the genre it's playing in, it's hokey, but you probably did. I believe you did the same thing I did, where like, yeah, you're laughing at it, but I'll be damned. I like those songs now.
It's got one of the best theme songs I've probably ever heard. Friends
for Eternity.
Friends for Eternity.
Brilliant.
I watched the movie for the first time, and obviously I'm like going through it, enjoying it or whatever, kind of like unsure about it, didn't know. I knew I was supposed to be laughing at it or whatever, but when the actual musical numbers come on and they play that song in its entirety, it's not like a quick clip and then they're like going to the next scene. They play this entire song, 4 minutes long, like Russ said, where the guy's playing a bass guitar, he doesn't know what he's doing, but this other dude is singing this song, Friends for Eternity. And if that song is not an earworm, I don't know what is. Dude. I was singing that song for like days after. And I remember that song more than plot points of the friggin' movie, if you could even call some of them plot points. But still, dude, like that's to this day, when I think this movie, I think Friends for Eternity.
Even Against the Ninja is a good song, and that gets in my head too.
Yeah, I just, that Friends song, god damn it. Go listen to that if you want to and get a feel for it, but damn, is that a good song.
I'll say that Friends for Eternity, that song is so good. I could picture that in like a Pixar movie or something. It's that good.
It is that good. Like the lyrics
and
are wholesome and good.
Exactly.
The music is like, damn, this
film.
song is like catchy.
Yeah.
Like it's catchy. Like, and who wrote those songs? Did YK Kim write them?
No.
Also,
dude, I think it was Mullet Guy.
It was that. It was the main dude.
Okay. Mullet Guy sounds like an insult, and most times it is. Not in this man's case. He is a legend.
No. And this movie came out on Blu-ray almost 10 years ago at this point.
That Alamo Drafthouse release?
2012 is what I saw. So this is 10 years later. You're getting the official upgrade here, which took him 10 years to get all this extra stuff together. Pretty awesome.
Matt, I'm going to be honest with you. This could have been bare bones just with that artwork. Pre-ordered the same.
Pre-ordered all the same.
You texted me on the side before we got together to shoot. He was like, this is the segment you've been waiting for. As soon as you texted me, I didn't even respond to you. I just went and pre-ordered it immediately.
Buy. Click it. Buy.
Release of the year, folks.
Yeah. No, it looks awesome. And I think it's cool that when that Blu-ray came out, whatever, 10 years ago, 10 years later, they still have interest to come back and talk about this movie and put more materials out. And also Umbrella, which is an Australian Blu-ray label that we've talked about a couple of times, they're also getting this as well. I don't think it's 4K. I think it's just Blu-ray, but they're getting so Australia out there, you're getting some Miami Connection too.
Man, if there's a release that deserves a light to be, shine on it, this is the one, man. This is the one.
And that original Blu-ray is out of print, right? Like you can't even get that anymore.
I mean, I've had it for a while.
Yeah.
I definitely bought it.
I saw a lot of comments.
Or something.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comments of people like saying like, I'm glad this is out because I've been looking for this for a long time.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't realize how rare mine was.
Maybe. Yep. You might be sitting on a gold mine, Russ. You might be sitting on a gold mine. So yeah, out May 31st, Miami Connection. Can't recommend it enough. Not only the set looks great, everything they're providing looks great, but the movie, Russ.
I introduced you to this film.
You did.
Will you be buying this?
I am so on the cusp of just giving this a purchase, Russ. I really, gosh. I think I'm going to buy this one. Yes. I do think I'm going to buy this one. I mean, just that song alone. And just the fact that it is such a fun movie, I do feel like...
dude, I've rewatched
it's
this movie.
It's so rewatchable, yeah.
Oh, you have I've seen this movie at least 20 times.
Yeah. No,
at least.
And I think I need to... It's one of those movies just like The Room, where nothing was explained to me ahead of time. I kind of got the feeling that when you showed this to me, that this was kind of going to be like that. But even when you showed me the room, you didn't say anything, and I didn't know anything about the room. So like I heard you laughing, and I'm like, okay, am I supposed to be laughing? Because this is shitty. And then I got it, but it was the same thing with this. It's like, I don't know what I'm like. I'm having fun, but it's like, I need to go in just like ready to like give myself over to it. I think.
At least I didn't do to you. I was dating a girl at one point in the mid 2000s, and I showed her the room, but we had just started dating. She didn't know me that well.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, this is one of my favorite movies. It's really deep. It's about a woman who cheats on her husband with his best friend. It's really like, you got to watch it. And she went for the first 15 minutes. I could tell she was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, because she wanted to respect me. Like maybe he does really like this and I'm missing something. And I had to tell her like, no, just laugh.
Just laugh. Please laugh. That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I mean, this is, it just looks like a great pickup. And again, I love that art. I think it looks so cool. So yeah, you can count me in. You can count me in Vinegar Syndrome.
Good.
So May 31st for everyone else, get that Miami connection. And then, yeah, dude, it looks good. I don't know about Cloak and Dagger.
I've never seen that.
Maybe it's kind of weird. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was something that had kind of been on my mind for a little while, because some people had been messaging us on the side and kind of asking our opinion on things like some of these disc delays that have been going on with like lately in certain studios that we've covered, and recalls and disc replacement programs and stuff like that, and kind of wanted to know like what our thoughts were. And I thought maybe we could take it just one step further and just talk a little bit about where we are in general with physical media, because I think so much I feel like has even changed in the time that we've started this channel. A lot has changed from the time when I started collecting movies, however many, 20 years ago. And there's obvious points that we're all aware of, like it isn't what it used to be financially, and there isn't as much support for it as there once was. I think that's a given. But I think there's a lot of other little ebbs and flows that are kind of going on that are just kind of interesting to take a look at. I know I started collecting back in 2001. And so it was about 20 years ago at this point. And like I said, beyond sales and everything, how do you feel like physical media is going currently?
Well, right off the bat, you didn't collect VHS?
I did not.
See,
I did. I had a handful.
I had a VHS.
I had a handful of VHS. Yeah, I had like my favorites actually. It was like Evil Dead 2, Trainspotting, Pulp Fiction. Like those were the VHS tapes I had because I had a VHS player in my room.
I remember being 14, I think it was 1996, and they put out on VHS, it was a special edition of Natural Born Killers.
Oh, snap.
And it was 2 VHSs. And the whole second VHS was just making up. It was basically what DVDs and Blu-ray became.
Yeah.
And I was stoked. I had that when I was 14. I had the original Natural Born Killers VHS. I had that, like I was collecting even then, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, same as you though. I started 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when DVD players kind of hit.
It was 2001 was the first like DVD, like that's well actually
no, it was 2000.
DVDs came out in 1997, and I bought my first one in 2001.
Yeah, it was funny if we're going to go this deep. I got a DVD player for Christmas of 1999. So it was basically 2000.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. No.
I had no clue. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And at that time, I remember I went to a store to buy DVDs for this. All they had was The Wizard of Oz, Austin Powers, and The Matrix. Those were literally the only 3 titles.
Yeah.
So I had to buy The Matrix. I remember.
My DVD player was my PlayStation too. That's how I played anything. It was through that for a little while. I even bought the little add-on remote that you could get for it. So that was kind of like where I started. And then it was actually, Blu-ray, and then HD DVD came out like almost 10 years later. And that was in...
And HD DVD was actually superior.
I never owned a single HD DVD.
Well, I mean, I forget the actual technical aspects of it, but it was the superior format.
Yeah.
But it was PlayStation again, that kind of...
PlayStation, and I think porn. Also, I think that was always
that's what happened with VHS and Beta.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that was a thing too. It was like that was the format that they went with, but that was the first format change in 10 years. And I bought my first one. It came out in 2006. I bought my first Blu-ray in 2007, and that was also the first time where you had to buy like a new TV and like something else to see like this HD. Yeah, like it was like you had to change shit, and that was the first time where it was like, damn, this is a commitment, to like keep going with this stuff. Like I got to buy all kinds of new stuff. which was pretty crazy. And then 4K, which is the most recent format, is 10 years after that in 2016. So there's been like this. And again, you got to buy a new player, a new TV. It's like a whole new technology upgrade one more time to invest in what we are currently, enjoying, is 4K releases for this channel. But I don't know if you remember. I know I got on with 4K like immediately, and I got on with it like the same year it came out. It came out in 2016 February. I got on it April 2016. My first movie I bought was The Revenant, which is still to this day the best looking 4K release I think I even own. And I bought it. I bought all this 4K stuff specifically for that because I was a huge fan of the movie, as you know, Russ, and I wanted to see this natural experience that Alexandra Inarritu promised me from the beginning. But I digress. But at the time, it felt really shaky because there were the same like 10 4K releases for like months. Like there was nothing. And I kept refreshing every day on Amazon or wherever else. I wasn't too deep into collecting as much as I am probably now. I feel like this channel has really been a resurgence for me with collecting and knowing so much about these other labels and stuff. All I was looking at was like Amazon, like just like refresh their listings all the time. Dude, it was forever until new releases would come out and you would maybe get like a new, 4K release, but it wasn't like anything from the past. It wasn't like, it was just new stuff.
Wasn't it me who told you that 4Ks were region free?
You did. You told me,
I don't think you knew that at that
I didn't.
point.
I didn't know.
You've got a whole world to pick up awesome releases now.
Right. Yeah. So for the time, it felt really slow and there really wasn't too much coming out. And I thought it was like, okay, is this format going to catch on at all? But, fast forward, I feel like it really has caught on. And I mean, this is like the only thing that we're looking at anymore. The only thing that we're after anymore, which is pretty awesome in a way.
I don't know where you're going with this. I don't know if I should save my thoughts.
No, what do you think? I mean, my next kind of question is more like, where do you think it goes from here if it does at all? Like, have we met the like finished point where we don't need 8K? Like 4K is the final resting place of physical media.
Sadly, I think so.
I think so too, and I'm not bothered by that because I feel like even the concept and notion of an 8K anything, I feel like it's diminishing returns no matter what. Yeah. And I feel like by the time I'm in 8K, I'm probably not even able to grasp the entirety of the 4K, or something, depending on where I'm sitting, there's a whole like science to it. Like you need to be closer to the television to really experience 4K. Whereas 8K, you might even need to be closer. It's like at some point, what am I just like wear the TV on my face?
At some point, I'm just going to be on set while they film.
Yeah, I just need to be there. Right. No, but I think
at some point, we're just going to go back to stage plays.
Just us in the theater in this town square putting on plays. But
I'm not bothered by it either.
No, I'm not
being honest with you. But the writing's on the wall. We just got done discussing Miami Connection on 4K. The titles that are being announced, they're geek titles.
Yeah,
they are cult titles. They are collector titles. I'll ask you this. Has there been a movie that has debuted in the past 5 years that you have been like, wow, I got to get that edition that's come out on physical media?
You mean like a current movie, like a new movie,
yes.
like straight out of the theater? I mean, no, because
That's
you don't
There's
see
no focus on it.
No.
So the writing's on the wall. It's already going that way. It's a niche industry at this point.
Definitely.
And it's Vinegar Syndrome, it's Arrow, it's Scream. These are the ones keeping it alive.
Yep.
Once the collectors abandon that, it's done.
Yeah, and I wonder too if 4K is the final resting place, how many more Miami Connection 4Ks will there be? Like this is the last time.
Not only that, but at some point you're going to run out of movies that have some sort of pop culture or cult cachet.
So do you think we've passed our golden age? We're kind of like in our decline at this point.
I think. Well, it's interesting because now you have Criterion jumping in 4K. You have Vinegar Syndrome doing 4K.
Yep.
I think it's interesting. It's a reason to celebrate movies from the past and upgrade and talk about them and keep them alive. As far as the market goes, I do. It's the last. I can't foresee it going anywhere else. Younger people don't care. They've grown up with streaming. They're fine with it. And I don't blame them. If I grew up with streaming, I may be that way myself. I don't know. But
if this is physical media's sort of like ending or swan song or whatever you want to call it, I do feel like we're in a good place with it right now. Like I think before we started doing this channel and before I really started paying attention to releases here and overseas and wherever else, I don't know that I felt the same way. Like I felt like I was like, okay, you know, like I'm just waiting for new movies to come out that I saw or that I like. And there would always be something I would catch from an era or somebody, but it was never anything I really cared too much about. But recently, just looking at a little bit deeper or closer, there are so many great studios that are still putting out really great stuff. And you're right; it's like all this is on the back of the boutiques, and luckily, people like Criterion who are still deciding to move forward with 4K and still trying to keep going. You know, I think that's really cool. And I think that, you know, when you're focusing on these films and you have this great packaging now, and you have these great transfers and all this stuff that they are putting a lot of care and time into. It's what the bigger studios used to do that they just don't care to do anymore. And we're getting it on a smaller level, which I still like and I still appreciate. And I still think that it's going well. It doesn't look like it's dead or even dying. It looks like it's maintaining within what it's like got left.
And that's why I say it's more of the writing's on the wall situation. I'm not pronouncing it dead right now, but it's coming.
Do you have a favorite like boutique or label that you typically buy the most from, or that you see the most films come out that you like?
This year it's been Vinegar.
Yeah.
Typically, you know, well, if I'm going just by my collection, I feel like I have the most Shout Scream Factory special editions out of any other boutique label. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But I think that and Criterion are probably the most, as far as labels go, that I own. Arrow would be a close third.
Yeah.
And after that, it's a toss-up.
Yeah. And I think physical media abroad, too, is doing pretty well also.
Thank you. I forgot to say that while you were talking. It's going to die in North America first.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep going in Europe and other places for a while, but it'll die down there too.
Yeah, I think they're still going strong. UK, Germany, you know, a lot of countries.
They got the best releases.
They do. They do have the best releases, and it shows that they at least have, I don't know if it's more of a budget to do stuff, or there's just more of an people want it more, or they're clamoring for it more. Like I don't know what it is, what's going on for them. But
Anybody
it's good.
watching from Europe, let us know. Is the culture different there? Like,
Yeah.
Is physical media still a thing there? It has to be evaporating, just like it is here. But like you said, maybe there is still a little bit more of a stranglehold, a little bit more of an importance on it.
Yeah.
That is just, it's not in America at all anymore.
And it feels a little bit more special now too, because it's like every once in a while, you know, a news story will come up and there'll be like a Miami Connection will be in there. It's like, oh crap, that's great. Because back in the day, I remember the experience was like almost like whenever I went to a Best Buy or somewhere, it was like every time I went, it was like a haul. It was like, let me go there and I'll pick up, you know, this on sale, this, bang, bang, bang. It was like the earlier days of like collecting, where that's not really what I'm doing anymore, because you kind of have at least a lot of those, unless you're somebody who is still just buying titles to like fit onto your shelf. I'm only a kind of person
there are people who do that.
Absolutely. Oh, that's totally the case. I'm someone who is only buying or rebuying things I'm truly passionate about at this time, whereas before, blind buy, like, you know, it just didn't even matter.
Yeah, I don't blind buy half as much as I used to.
No,
that's for sure. Well, I will say this also, the demographic, it's us.
Yeah.
It's people, it's older people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting. We keep going back to Miami Connection, but they're preying on that nostalgic video store mentality that is ingrained in, I think, a lot of people our age.
Yeah.
For instance, Miami Connection, just looking at that cover, that might appeal to somebody who had never seen it, but it takes you right back to being a kid in a video store.
Yep.
I mean, there were so many covers that looked like Miami Connection back then. Even if I didn't see it then, I have a fondness for it.
Yeah.
I have a love for it.
Yep.
And that's what this all is, you know, and it's sad to see it go, but let's all get these best releases before, when we can.
And I think I used to be a little bit more sadder than I was, to be honest. Like when we first, again, started this channel, and we talked about it, and we, you know, you sit back and you think about like where physical media once was and where it is now. It's definitely diminished, and it's a much smaller niche kind of a thing. But for what it is, I don't see it as fading away. I see these people putting out releases, great releases, more than I've ever seen before. Like Kino Lorber we talked about, they are pumping them out. Like there are people that are still putting out great releases constantly. So it doesn't feel like it's dying. It just feels like you said, it's for us. It's for a very specific audience of people. And honestly, I don't even mind that. Like that's kind of cool to feel like there's something that's just for me now, or you know, that's kind of nice.
I don't mind it at all.
I think it's great. I think it's great. There are obviously some things going on that are a little bit of like, thorns in your side, or kind of things that make you wince a little bit time to time with what some of these companies are doing to kind of, whether it be squeeze out a buck or rush something through, or, whatever it might be. I know some of the things that people have been putting a lot of focus on lately is some of the disc recalls and the delays. It seems to happen pretty frequently.
Yeah, it does.
Criterion, I don't even know what to say for them. I mean, their very first release had a known issue. That Beatles Hard Day's Night Criterion release that they also 4K, that 4K that they put out of that also had an issue. Excuse me. Hard Target, I remember us talking about, Escape from LA, Mad Max, Silence of the Lambs, The Witch, even recently. Demons, yeah. Some of these have either been delayed or have had issues. Now, The Witch, which is we talked about on that Second Sight is putting out, they sent out a notice to anybody that had ordered, as well as a tweet that basically just said, hey, we need to delay this because we want to make sure we get you the best quality product possible, and there's something going on with the transfer we need to fix, or whatever it might be. I appreciate that transparency. Mm-hmm. I appreciate knowing that someone really is taking their time to get something to me the way that it should be, or is quality checking this stuff, because that's kind of what it seems like. Like, I don't know. Obviously, maybe some of these studios, their budgets are a little smaller. Maybe they don't have the QC team like they used to have. Maybe, or I don't know what it is, how some of these things keep sliding through. It just seems like it's happening a lot.
I will say some of them sometimes, though, I can't blame the quality control.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Tourist Trap. Mm-hmm. Someone noticed that, like, hey, wait, that was that 1 15-second part was the cut from this European release. Yeah. That was it. And it's like, dude, I can't blame a quality control guy who maybe isn't like the biggest fan of Tourist Trap to notice that type of a thing. And that just shows you fandom will keep you on your toes. Yeah,
no, it's true.
People who love
rabid fans
love it. They will tell you. They will let you know.
Yeah.
And in that kind of a situation, like I said, they're dealing with a demographic who wants it authentic. It's what they remember it as. Yeah. And I mean, it's cool that they replace it. It's cool that they go back and do it. No, I'm with you, though. It just, after a while, it's like, damn, how many times can you guys do this?
Over and over. I know.
I feel like I could run this better.
I know. And I think there's been a couple of times, too, where we've covered stories that are, I think American Werewolf in London was one of these cases, a couple of Scream Factory ones that we covered and RoboCop, where, Arrow specifically, and Scream Factory I've seen do it the most so far, where they're putting out 4K versions of something from the past, and they're not changing it at all. They're just giving you the 4K disc inside. No new features, no new box, and no nothing.
Scream Factory's doing it every week.
I know, and it's like, I'm torn on one end thinking to myself, okay, these boutiques, these labels, whatever, they need the money, and this is clearly a way for them to get money. But at the same time, these are the same companies that are supposed to be on my side in the physical media game that we still have left. So it feels like you're gouging what little is left, and that sometimes doesn't feel right now. There's, of course, people that didn't buy it the first time, and good for them, but at the core of it, it just kind of stings a little bit. Yeah. That it's like a repeat. That it's not new art. Even a new anything inside would be something, but it's just not. It's just like a repeat. It's like no care was given. So I don't know. Seems like a trend. What do you think? To be expected?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a fickle market, man. When you just said that, what it reminded me of is I remember when Criterion was putting out Breakfast Club. And if you would read any comments on that, why is Criterion putting out Breakfast Club? This is bullshit. It's not or The Big Chill. Why? Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, because that's going to sell way more than Bergman movies.
Yeah. They need to make some money.
Bergman movies, you're going to get, film people who are going to buy them. But Breakfast Club, they're going to make money off that. And that's going to fund future restorations and editions of films we do want to see. And Breakfast Club's a good movie. I'm not saying Breakfast Club is trash, but people would argue, like, why is that in Criterion? It's like, well, they got to make some fucking money. I mean,
they do.
They got to get funding somehow. You can't lay it all on, like, just be righteous and virtuous all the time with the love of the art. Like, you're doing that, but you got to keep the lights on too.
I know. But could I point you to the I Spit on Your Grave 4K replacement disc program where they said, hey, buy this thing all over again, or just give us $20 for the disc? Why can't I do that for Arrow?
That's now they are too,
though. But you're not spending 50 or 40 or whatever it is dollars for this whole thing all over again. Now what they're doing also is they're just going to give you that steel, like they did with RoboCop, and I think it was Wild Things, where they're going to give you this in a steelbook instead on its own if you want it. But but essentially you're still going to have to rebuy it again at this higher price. Whereas at least they were saying $19.99 Here's just the disc. I think we also covered Running Man. They did that in Germany too, which I appreciate. I think that's cool that they are considering to do that because there are collectors that have to have it all.
But I also think that goes back to your point where it's like, you guys knew this was coming down the pipeline anyway.
They
so you just hustled me out of $20. That's a nicer hustle than what Arrow's doing.
Yeah. Yep.
But you're still, come on.
And I just feel bad for those people out there that have to have it all and they have to drop like every single dime on it. And then you've got collector's edition restocks, which is another like,
that
I hate that
shit out of
dude.
me.
I freaking hate that. I mean, we talked about True Romance. I have not seen that before, but another thing that I saw, which I think is even crazier, is Titans of Cult, who are supposed to be limited completely. They put out one of their very first releases was Blade Runner. And it has since been the most highest sought after one, highest on the aftermarket one that you can get. They're putting it back out again. And I think it already resold out. But it's like, I thought this was limited. I mean, it's like, did I buy this movie because I like it? Sure. Did I buy this movie because it's a collector's item? Also sure. Did I buy this because I want to feel like my purchases have value and continue to increase? Great. Now all of a sudden you're going to put this stuff back out again. It's going to tank the value, if that's what I cared about, of this limited product that you told me was limited. It's not. I think that sucks.
And on a just more base point, it's false advertising.
Yeah, definitely.
You're selling me something as limited. You know it's not.
Yeah. I mean, does it make it worthless then? I mean, and you're right.
And that's going to turn off people.
Yeah.
You know, from just taking that plunge. Like,
I think
it's like, well, fuck it. It'll come back out again in a couple of months.
Yeah. I think it's a dangerous precedent. I think it's anytime you have anything that's limited, that's like, oh, it's back out again. Oh, but this time we just like changed a color on it, or, you know, like on a poster or a pair of sneakers or whatever they put out. It's like, oh, it's the same thing, but we just changed a little thing. It's like, that just sucks. It's like, it doesn't feel limited.
Well, they changed nothing, like American Werewolf in London.
Right. Zero. Just here it is, right back out. And then the only other thing that I feel like it hasn't been like necessarily a trend yet, but I've seen this happen at least on two occasions, on two high profile releases where you had The Labyrinth and then you had Ghostbusters, both which had been out on 4K before, getting put back out on 4K again, but this time with an added HDR grade to it. So it's already 4K, but now the double dip on it is if you want it with 4K with HDR, here it is. Now, they did give you a different package and some other stuff to make it different. But when you look at these side-by-side screenshots, you can tell if you really pay attention, like how a little bit brighter some of these colors may have become or whatever it is. But, dude, the fact that they're trying to even entice someone to double dip over that, I think kind of sucks too.
It doesn't bother me as much with titles like Ghostbusters because I kind of expect that.
Yeah.
When something's such a big franchise.
How many more times can I milk it? Just give me more. Give me XDR.
I expect it with that. And I'm not going to keep doing it with with most movies that are like that anyway. It bugs me more when it's a cult film, when it's like, dude, people love this. They want that limited. You know, if somebody's buying Escape from New York with the soundtrack album on it, they want to feel like that's the special release.
Right.
They don't want to see that get one-upped a couple months later, you know?
Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, so just a couple of things that, you know, are still prevalent, but these kinds of things have always been prevalent. Whenever you were a collector, there was always some double dip, you know, thing that you always got screwed on or something, even back from in the Blu-ray days.
One of these days, we should actually tally up how many times both of us have bought Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness.
Yeah, let us know below how many times you've bought.
If I held on to every copy I've ever owned of those movies, I'd need like a separate room.
Its own shelf.
I'd need a cabin in the woods just to keep them all in. Seriously.
We talked about the sales like early on in the beginning, and I did want to just bring that up because I was kind of curious, and I did take a look at not dollar amount, but I was curious to see, you know, is DVD, is Blu-ray, how is 4K like thriving amongst each other? Like, what is this market even still? And obviously, like we said, the sales aren't what they were. It's just a niche market, or niche. Not sure. Go with what you want. But, you know, DVDs still have the highest share of the profits out of all three. Ooh. And I didn't really think too much about why, but then when I started kind of looking at the trend and stuff and some of like the notes around it, I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense where
I'm surprised by it.
DVD sales are actually increasing, whereas Blu-ray sales are decreasing.
Why?
I know, dude. It's crazy. It seems, and still to this day, some things only come to DVD. like TV shows, certain movies, and they only come out on DVD. I think
there's a few.
Yeah,
that I buy myself. I still buy DVDs every now and again because there's no.
Yeah. So what you have is apparently, so when the way it seems to be described is like you have this market where DVD is the most easily distributed, and you can get, basically anything on it, and it's cheap as shit. It's like $9.99, $8.99, whatever it is. People that have not upgraded from DVD are not upgrading anytime soon, and this is like them now, and this is what they're going to get. Then you have Blu-ray, which is like in the middle, and then you have people like you and me who are the collectors who want the best possible thing that you can get, which is 4K and all this other stuff. So where does that leave Blu-ray? It like squeezes it out. It's like people that want value and don't give a shit are DVD. People like me and you want the best thing they can get, which is 4K. So eventually Blu-ray sales are starting to dip a little bit in combination with other things, like there's no big blockbuster movies anymore to the way that they were, because that drove a lot of home media sales. I think they mentioned one of the biggest Blu-ray releases of late is like Avengers or something like Endgame, because that was like a huge thing in the theater, and that drove a huge thing at home. But you don't get that anymore, so you don't have these big home releases for Blu-ray. It's just this like 4K like niche market that is thriving, and it's also increasing in value and sales, and Blu-ray is just kind of getting shrunk out a little bit. It's weird. Like when you look at the graphs, it's literally like a sandwich, and Blu-ray is slowly getting smaller. It's weird.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah. It's like divided kind of the market where collectors want the best thing possible and the most vibrant presentation possible, and everybody else just wants value. Like that's it. And Blu-ray is no longer the cheapest or best option. So it's like, who's going for that one? It's like, that's interesting.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like weird. Why that, and I didn't really think about that at all. But yeah, so 4K, their sales are steady. They're kind of moving up, and Blu-rays have only outpaced DVDs 1 month of 2021 in the past like 5 years to 6 years or something, like on the chart as far back as I could go. And I think
there a rationale for
Avengers. It had like, there was just like some huge release that had come out, and that's why it outpaced it for like a second. But so out of the currently out of the top 50 disc sellers that are out there, whatever they might be, probably like Godfather, Ghostbusters, whatever's recently out of the top 50, 63.8% DVD, 23.8% Blu-ray, and 12.4% 4K. Is the market share. So that's what people are buying out of the top 50 discs in the US right now. Yeah. So, and the only other like footnote that this article I was reading was saying, it's like, COVID, obviously the rise of streaming and COVID actually streaming was really enhanced by COVID, but streaming was already there. COVID had come, decimated everything else. So you don't really have these people going to theaters. You don't have movies that are coming out that people want to see at home because everybody already has it at home with their streaming and everything else. And then so you have these big releases like Avengers that are driving a little bit. Then you have big re-releases like Godfather, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings that are keeping that sort of subset of the market alive. But yeah, I mean, in general, when I looked at some of those graphs, everything looks like it's just moving along nicely. It's just the way that the trends are changing. It's very interesting to see. But I don't know, man. I haven't been more excited about collecting in a long time. I'm proud of physical media. I think it's still doing well. I'm still happy to be a collector.
Of course.
What about yourself? Till the day I die.
And even if it does become niche, dude, this is our bread and butter. I mean, we are the target.
We are.
And they're giving us the movies they know people like us want to collect. So, yeah.
So keep on buying. Keep on supporting. Yeah. Tell them, Russ.
Keep supporting physical media on DVD.
Yes, this is now a DVD channel. We're DVD kings again.
We missed the whole market, dude. We're 4K. DVDs are selling the most. We're DVD kings now.
DVD kings. So, you want to talk about Will Smith?
Sure. What time is it?
Oh, it's there's plenty of time for Will Smith.
Damn.
So, obviously, Oscars aside, because I obviously the Oscars happened and it's been done to death and memed to death and whatever else.
Well, I think people probably would want to hear. All right, let's just give a quick opinion. Your thoughts on what happened?
I thought it was disgraceful. I thought it was embarrassing. Like I was shocked. Like I think everybody else, it was kind of like, oh, that was a joke. Like they're both in on that. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, that's not a joke. Like I just felt like gross after. And I felt horrible for Chris Rock. And I think he handled everything perfectly well, and he left, and he's still handling things perfectly well to this day. I think everything that comes to Will Smith, he deserves. I've never liked Will Smith, which is why we want to talk about Will Smith in general, just to give our opinions on him. I've never liked him. I hope that only bad things happen to him now as a result of this event. I mean, I'm not saying Will Smith should get killed. Like, oh, Will Smith should die tomorrow. Like, no, I'm not like, but him being banned, him being stripped of things, him not getting, roles that he feels he deserves, like everything that he worked for should be gone as a result of that hideous act that he did on the world stage in front of everybody that he's been trying to impress for his whole life to try to show what a serious actor he is. And he completely just decimated it in the most despicable way possible over a joke that meant nothing.
I support Will Smith. Basically the same. I'm a big Chris Rock fan. He was like an idol. He was like a hero to me growing up, especially influenced my writing in a lot of ways. Not as big of a fan of his movies. He's got some gems here and there, but so for me, I felt that disgust of seeing, like, I'm watching an icon in his field just get embarrassed for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And he kept it classy. What are you going to do? Brawl on the stage? No, he took it.
Ooh. No, my favorite part, that was my favorite part for that 1 second where he's like, oh, I could, because it's like, oh man, all you got to bring up is the 8th month of the year.
Yep.
You could go to one joke about Jada and August. Oh, who knows what would have happened there? But he was like, nah, not gonna do it. You just ruined yourself.
Oh,
revel in it, and I'm looking incredible now. Thank you.
Totally.
He handled it beautifully, of course.
He did.
One thing, where the fuck is the security here?
Well, I think,
and he should have been thrown. And when he said, "I'm not leaving," to me, that's like, all right, fuck you on so many levels now, you self-important jackass.
Oh, definitely.
If you just assaulted a man just to get, and then we're going to stay in here and get your trophy.
Yeah,
like,
and go up there and cry after he received it and act
let's
like what
be
he
real.
did was justified. Like,
no.
Love makes you crazy things.
No, I disagree with people on that. He was crying because he knew.
You think he knew? And
he knew. They went to a commercial break. Bradley Cooper's coming over there. Like, who the fuck was checking on Chris Rock, dude?
Nobody.
Like, all these people, Denzel and everybody, like, the devil comes to you in your eye. Yeah, that's great. And listen, I don't want Will Smith. Like you said, I have empathy for Will Smith in this situation. But just as a community of artists and motion picture actors, filmmakers, all that, what the fuck, dude? Is Will Smith above everyone or something? Like, you're going to assault somebody, not leave, and get an award.
Yeah.
Like,
even if you chalk up to what he did as just temporary insanity, even if whatever was said, temporary insanity, okay, then come back down. And then, like you said, someone comes in and like, excuse me, sir, that wasn't cool. Get the F out.
But that's what bugged me.
And then he doesn't. It's like you said, now you become, because that's where I feel like some people brush it off, the slap part, like, oh, well, he was just protecting, or, oh, he didn't know what he was doing, or he was whatever. But after it was over, it's like you had clarity of mind to know that you messed up in front of a lot of people and did a wrong thing, and you should be the bigger person and say, you know what, I will excuse myself from the situation. But no, I'm staying. What I did was correct.
I deserve this.
What I did was
for
correct.
30 years, I've been doing obvious Oscar
I'd slap him
bait.
again.
I need that trophy.
Yeah, it's like, no, dude, you're fucked up then. Like, that's it. That's done.
Yeah, you child.
No,
but anyway, well, it's even funnier about that. Jada Pinkett came out and like tweeted something.
Oh, it's
recently.
a summer of healing, and I'm here for it.
After that,
what she said something else.
I don't need protecting. I'm a strong black woman. I don't need protecting.
No.
So it's like, damn, you're roasting your husband now.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you all are trying to sell it to clean up his brand.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, even your wife's fucking you over all well, she already did a couple times.
And so many weird clips are coming out now of like their relationship. Things
dude, they were already there.
Yeah, and now people
these
are like,
red table talks have been going on for a while, dude.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Yeah. All right. But that shit aside, I thought this would be a good idea since he is so comfortable emasculating, humiliating, denigrating one of the greatest comedians of all time. Let's not make jokes about him. Let's just go through and be honest about his film output.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it exactly what it was. And one thing, all right, one thing why I never liked him, but I did defend him all these years. I do think there was a place for what he does. I thought it was a good look for hip hop. I think with black representation in Hollywood, to be wholesome, to be like that guy, to like young kids who are black can see themselves as a, in a role. You don't see that. It's all fucking white people. So I got that. I always defended him on that. But I've always hated his career as a fan of art and films. I can't fucking condone his goddamn filmography. Get out of here. It's like I said, it's either obvious Oscar bait or blockbusters, and would bug the shit out of me. I remember in the 90s, I came across an article, and it was an interview with him and his agent, and they literally said during the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they sat down and studied the top 10 grossing movies of all time, and what they did was, okay, 4 of them had aliens. It was like Star Wars and shit like that. 3 of them have a romance aspect, blah, blah, blah. And it's like they just literally took that. What was his breakout movie? Independence Day, then Men in Black. Oh, he's done a lot of sci-fi. It's so calculated. Yeah. It's the exact opposite of art and performance. You shouldn't even have an Oscar if you're like fucking just calculating it out like that. You're not doing it for the passion or the love. You're doing it for clout. And before somebody compares Leonardo DiCaprio to this, because there was always the jokes about him not getting his Oscar and all that, the difference is you've never seen Leonardo DiCaprio in a movie like Hitch.
No.
It's just what Leonardo DiCaprio does. He's a great fucking actor. Will Smith is a scripted person. Come on, let's just go through. Let's get rid of this shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually seen Where the Day Takes You. It's hilarious. He's in a wheelchair. And he's homeless. Probably what it'll be after this whole scenario.
I mean, you described why you did or didn't like his career, whatever it is. He just is so mid-range to me. It's just like,
and I just explained to you why. It's calculated.
Yeah, everything about it's mid-range. It's just so blah.
It is. It's all about a brand. It's so vanilla. Even with him chasing Oscar movies, he turned down Django Unchained, which Tarantino movies get Oscar nominations. Yeah. That was so off-brand for him, though. And it's like, if you're going to play this safe on all fronts, how do I respect you as an artist? I don't. You're not an artist. You're a walking commercial.
Yep.
So let's keep going. Bad Boys.
And what you were going to say too, or what you already said, was it's like obvious Oscar bait or blockbuster, something to that degree. He is a certain actor in either one. It's like he's the same. Yeah. He's the same blockbuster guy with the same quips, with the same whatever in this, and then in these Oscar baity ones, he's like the serious tone. But there's never any range in either one. It's the same person every time doing the mid-range thing that sucks. Bad Boys I've never seen. Independence Day I love.
Here's what's funny. Yeah, let's just go through. I've seen Bad Boys. It's actually not bad. If I have to watch a Will Smith movie, I can deal with Bad Boys.
I like Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I like him. I love Martin more than I love Fresh Prince. Thoughts on that?
That's a good debate.
Ooh. Martin's funnier, dude. Martin's way funnier.
Well, I know, but I work as a
show, yeah. As a person, he's way
Martin
funnier.
Lawrence is way. Well, Martin Lawrence is a stand-up comedian. Will Smith was never a stand-up comedian.
He's just a joke.
Ouch. I've never seen Independence Day.
Independence Day was one of those things where it's like peak 90s blockbuster. I did not go to see it for him. I'm a huge fan of like alien shit and like, you know, I think we talked about like Unsolved Mysteries. The UFO segments were like one of my favorite ones all the time. So this movie just spoke to me. And then he just so happened to be in it. And I was like, okay, whatever. You know, but I mean, Judd Hirsch, come on.
I didn't mean to laugh. I just never heard somebody say Independence Day spoke to me.
It spoke to me. It reached out to me. I mean, you had Goldblum, you had Bill Pullman giving one of the greatest speeches of our time when he's like basically telling Randy Quaid to get up there.
We're supposed to be
blow
trashing
the spaceship.
We're supposed to be trashing the man.
Independence Day was a masterpiece despite Will Smith. Despite him, because in Independence Day, as much as I don't want to say defend Independence Day, but it's a movie that I liked as a kid, whatever. But within Independence Day, he is the thing I am annoyed by all the time, constantly, that he does. And I can't wait for him not to be there anymore. I'm so happy when it's focusing on everyone else. And I mean,
did you watch the sequel? He didn't show up for the sequel.
Didn't see the sequel.
Dude, you might get what you want.
They kill him off or something, don't they? He's already dead.
I mean, you can have a movie that speaks to you and doesn't have Will Smith.
Can I just tell you before we even get into his filmography? I'm gonna make a. This is
the most passionate I've ever seen you get.
I mean, I'm gonna say something. This might be controversial to this topic that we're about to have, but other than Independence Day and Men in Black, which I've only seen on TBS, I hate Will Smith so much that I haven't seen a single one of these movies.
I've seen a decent.
So I will not have an opinion because I purposely have gone out of my way never to watch
just
anything.
give your thoughts on what you think they are. Then okay. Let's go quick.
Wild Wild West. Kevin Kline.
We're going to Wild Wild West. I've never seen that.
Kevin Kline, bring her back.
Speaks for itself. Can we actually talk about after he slapped Chris Rock? He looked like the dude. He looked like he was in character from Wild Wild West.
He walked off like all swaggery.
Grabbed his belt.
Yeah.
Wiki. I was like fucking.
Kevin Kline was in the back like this.
Yeah, he was doing that, but he was shooting at the people trying to help Phoebe Cates escape. Never saw it. Nobody cared.
Bagger Vance.
No, God, no.
Look at him in this poster, dude. This is what I mean. It's like this shit comes out. I'm not seeing you in anything. Give me a break. Ali, that was like the first time it was like, okay, he's trying.
Yeah, that was the first try. I couldn't watch Ali.
Nope.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I'll just leave that alone. Never saw it.
Nope. Men in Black 2, Bad Boys 2, all coming out.
Actually, dude, I've seen a lot of these. Slow down. Men in Black 2, trash. Bad Boys 2, unintentionally funny. It's so tone deaf and so American that like, it's funny. It's Michael Bay. Get the fuck out. I'm a closet Michael Bay fan.
Okay.
Jersey Girl. I guess he cameos as himself. I remember. I did watch it, and I remember him. It was supposed to be somebody else, and he came in at the last minute. I want to say it was supposed to be Bruce Willis. Honestly, I could
would like that more, but I think his next big thing was iRobot.
God, that sucked. I saw that.
Nope.
Terrible.
Yep. Looks like
and I have nothing to say about his performances so far because I think we summed it up. Everything we have mentioned thus far is just him in one of two modes.
Yes.
Nothing surprising.
Boring. Hitch is the next, I guess, big thing that he was in.
I mean, that had Kevin James in it, so of course it's terrible.
Was that one of the Oscar bait movies with Kevin James? I don't know.
Dude,
which bucket does that fall
Kevin
into?
James.
Is it Kevin James bucket?
There's no such thing as Oscar bait with Kevin James, dude. This was the stupid romantic comedy where he's like helping ugly people get chicks.
Yeah, I know, dude. And then Pursuit of Happiness is like the next. Here we go. I'm going to give it one more try.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Okay, here's what I will say about Pursuit of Happiness. I saw that trailer for that, and I was like, okay, Will Smith, you're trying something different that I haven't seen yet because I think I was already forgetting about Ali, but I was like, all this other shit that's come out. I was like, maybe this could be something off, type for him. But I never ended up seeing it. I know people love this movie as far as he's concerned. What are your thoughts?
I've seen it. It's exactly what you're expecting.
Does it
so
work?
I don't know.
Like as far as him being this, like, I'm sure there's a scene in it where he cries and like breaks down and it's emotional and it's like.
But to me, that's cliche too. Like honestly, when I saw all the trailers for King Richard, I'm like, well, I've already seen Pursuit of Happiness, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I Am Legend.
Nope, didn't see it.
All right.
Know enough.
I'll give him a little credit on this one. Although I'm going to take it all back.
I hope you do, because some of the CGI
I'm gonna take it all back.
look like complete shit.
Oh, don't worry about the CGI. It was shit. I'm not saying this is a great movie. But what I'm saying is that first hour, he's pretty good in it. He's pretty good.
Because he's by himself with a dog?
Yeah. And
he's not acting.
He's pretty good in it.
He's walking.
No. That's... Shit, I may go out on a limb here and say I Am Legend is his best performance, right?
Okay.
But then I got to take it back.
Take it back.
Because he changed the goddamn ending, and it makes no sense. He lives. The title doesn't even make sense now.
No.
Because that's off-brand.
Because he's self-important.
Exactly.
He's got to live. He's got to live. Hancock.
Damn, I saw that too.
Didn't see it.
It sucked.
I think I've already mentioned I haven't seen any of these.
Yeah. It sucked. It felt like one of those movies, again, too on brand. It was PG-13, but I'm essentially watching Bad Santa with a comic book hero.
But
you're doing it PG.
Harder.
Exactly. It's PG-13, so it's
and where did that get him? Landing. Nowhere. It's not. None of these things are getting him anywhere. It's the 7 Pounds movie. I remember this is another one of these dumbass like.
I did not watch that one.
And I think someone told me how this movie ends, or whatever. And I was like, God, that just sounds so dumb. Like this movie just sounds like such shit. Will Smith and his Pursuit of Happiness, Ali trying to make something that's like artsy and maybe edgy, and Barry Pepper's involved. I mean, come on.
Barry Pepper?
Barry Pepper and Rosario Dawson.
Shit, I'm going to watch this tonight, man.
It's a 25th hour reunion. Fuck.
I know. Fuck, yeah. He's in one of my favorite movies. I can't talk shit on Barry Pepper.
After Earth, what a turd.
Nobody watched
Shyamalan,
it. Nobody watched it.
What a friggin' turd. Men in Black 3, I think I passed. And
I passed on it. I saw the first two.
And he's starting to get serious with Concussion.
Yeah, that's a whole thing with the Oscars. That kind of is the backstory, apparently.
Yeah, from when he was up there
last.
Who
cares? Everyone's heard this shit.
I saw that group that's on our Instagram, Readful Things, that does the action figures. They have a Will Smith career suicide squad figure. It's awesome. They put it out like the same day this happened.
Good.
It's awesome.
Pretty good.
It's great.
I'm gonna celebrate him here. He was good in Suicide Squad. That movie,
Okay.
The movie sucks, but he was a bright spot in it. He was good as Deadshot. I will give him that.
You'll give him that?
I'll give him that.
Collateral Beauty, I don't know that I've heard of. What's Collateral Beauty? We Are All Connected, an American fantasy drama.
Is that John Cusack?
It's Edward Norton. We got Michael Pena, who's like in everything now. Literally everything I see. Well,
That
every
looks
Netflix
like-
movie I see, he's in it.
It looks like one of those movies that Gary Marshall would do, like Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it does.
It's like some holiday.
Anthology that Will Smith's like the tying ties it all together.
Ooh, I've seen nothing.
Have you seen
past
Aladdin?
those guys.
Why wasn't he
I've
nominated
never
for
even,
Aladdin?
dude. I've never even seen the animated Aladdin. I'm for damn sure not watching that.
What a joke. Gemini Man, another thing where he's like, oh, this is edgy. We're going to make a young version of me, and I'm just going to fight an old version of me. Cool. Bad Boys for Life. Did you see that?
No, I'd probably watch it for Michael Bay.
I mean, for people that are fans of Bad Boys, why the fuck wouldn't you? I've just never seen them. Any
I
of
said
them.
the first one's not bad, and the second one is I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. King Richard, obviously. Here he is.
Dude, how fucked up. Like, you ruined so many people's moments.
Everything.
That's supposed to be an empowering movie for young black girls, and
Yeah.
now it's just all about you hitting another 57-year-old black man who is a legend in his field on a stage that has never been kind to black people.
Ever.
Like, come on, man.
No,
Come on.
and that's all that anyone will remember about that Academy Award. Not who won Best Picture, not who won like anything other than, oh, this is the year when he got slapped.
Yep.
And even Chris Rock said it. I don't think it's the greatest, but he was like, that's the greatest moment in television history because no one will ever stop talking about it. Like, it's going to continue
he
to
was
go on.
stunned and just like,
Of
how do I
course,
keep
like-
this together? Rightfully so. And
Yeah.
he handled it. Dude, if that was me up there, I probably would have ran off stage or something.
Yeah,
I don't know
who
what I
knows?
would have done.
You've been shook. Like he actually did the category when it was over. He read the damn category.
I said it. And props to him, dude. He's a stand-up comedian. He grew up in Brooklyn. He's
been heckled.
This man has made a sitcom about getting the shit kicked out of him all the
Yeah,
time
he's
as
been
a
bullied.
kid.
He's been heckled.
He's used to it. He's got robbed. He's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Real stand-up comedians know how to handle shit.
Yeah.
And he did it. Oh, that was great.
It was. Well, Will Smith's been banned for 10 years. What do you think about that? 10 years from the Academy, he can't attend and he cannot be nominated. And I wonder if he'll just quit acting as a result or he'll just do his normal cheesy thing and just say, F it.
Well, that's what, first off, everyone's saying it was fake. No, it was
No,
not.
no.
It benefited nobody.
No, that's not fake.
Who would it benefit? It didn't benefit the Oscars. It didn't benefit Will Smith. It didn't benefit Chris Rock's ticket sales are going up. Yeah, because everybody's feeling sad for him.
Yes.
We're all supporting him.
Yes.
Like nobody would go through any of that. But shit, what was the point? What were we even talking about? Oh, will he
Is it that
stop
he's
acting?
banned? Yeah, will he stop acting?
Well, I was
Like, what do you
saying
think?
it's not going to affect his career. Okay. If you come across a script that has awards potential, Will Smith's name's not going to be. He's not going to be
poisoned
considered.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to vote for him? Like, if 10 years from now, if he's in a movie, people are not going to forget that. Like, I'm not voting for him. Like, the people that are within the
I
Academy.
can't speak for 10 years. Watch. It'll
knows?
probably be some, like we were talking before we started recording. It'll probably be some comeback thing.
Comeback story. He'll
And
make a
listen,
movie about it.
And I will say this.
It'll be
Because we're
mid-range
being
as fuck.
honest. And we're being honest. I don't want to just roast him. I just want to call it what it is. He's not an artist. And in my opinion, you shouldn't have a fucking Oscar in the first place if you're not even like taking the craft of acting as art. You're just doing it as a fucking job.
Yeah. And I've hated
I don't
Will
even
Smith.
know where I was going with
Well, I've hated Will Smith from the beginning, and this just felt like a perfect opportunity for me to share that I don't like him at all. Like, sure, he
No.
did this slap, and it's despicable,
Yeah.
and we talked about that, and I hated that too, but I've hated him from day
like
one.
I said, dude, I give him, I feel empathy for him. I'll say that.
Okay.
I do. I think he's in a fucked up relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I think the pressure got to him, and it's just so he's not a dude who the pressure is supposed to get to. He's
Definitely not.
He's built a brand where pressure and what he does shouldn't even be in the same room.
And I think that's why I go back to the whole empathy for that moment and what his
I have empathy for him as a human being.
what's happened to him, and obviously he's been probably disrespected and to front and back with all this like cheating stuff. But like we talked before, it's like
Still your decision to go up there and do that.
even if it wasn't, like it was like you were compelled by insanity and you came back to earth and someone said, do you know what you did? You've got to go. And you're like, fuck off. I'm here. Give me my Oscar. that's a piece of shit move. And I feel like that erases a lot of the empathy I would have had if he respectfully walked out.
Okay, I have empathy for him as a human being. I have way more empathy for Chris Rock. I don't want to like turn it around and be like, oh, no. I have way more empathy for Chris Rock in this situation. But I have empathy for him too. I think, look, I don't want to, as disgusting as it was, I don't want to see anybody go through that in life. I don't want to see anybody that tortured to where you thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. If he didn't cuss, if he didn't sit down and say that, we would all be debating, was that real? What was that?
No,
but dude,
he doubled down.
He doubled down.
And he did it a second time. He said it twice. He said it twice.
Man.
Now I can't.
People, we got to stop with the Jada Pinkett Tupac stuff.
I know. You guys messed this man up.
We can't do it anymore. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. Well, I'm still going to listen to my He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper tape. So I still enjoy that
He's a
tape.
hip-hop icon.
I like that tape. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's the
The
one thing.
Nightmare
I didn't.
on my street.
Dude, I know
Drums, please.
I know every word to that song.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that I didn't want to bring up until the end, that I hate Will Smith as an actor, but god damn it if I don't love that album.
Classic album, man.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Classic
Front to
album.
back.
Yeah.
Front to back, I love that one.
And that's what I always said. I always kind of kept my mouth shut about what I feel his intentions are as an actor, because I'm like, dude, it's a good look for hip hop, and I love hip hop. Like, it's just, I get what you're doing. He's almost like a Tom Cruise in some ways, but in my opinion, Tom Cruise took the artistry seriously, and he doesn't. Yeah. But I always just kept my mouth shut. But after you just, whatever, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what to say next. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I do think that whatever bad things should happen as a result, they do, and we'll see what goes from there, because I think his career should be over, but please keep the rap career going, because maybe there's another gem you still got in there. Maybe he'll put out an album next.
I have some fun trivia to end this song, since you were such a fan of his rap career.
Okay, well, just that one album.
No, because this is something else.
No.
Getting jiggy with it.
Yes.
Dude.
What about it?
My favorite rapper of all time, Nas, wrote Getting Jiggy with It.
He wrote the words to that song? Wow. Did he have like what he thought the song should be in mind, or he just handed lyrics over and Will Smith made that song?
I wasn't in the room.
What do you know?
No, but dude, that happens all the time. He's a ghostwriter, and he wrote for...
But I wonder if he heard the beat and he was like, yeah, and he like just got with it.
From what I did read, it was something like he kind of felt like, but it's perfect for Will Smith kind of a thing.
Yeah,
he was writing for, that's what ghostwriters do. They write for the person, and that's a huge song. But not many people know that.
I did not know that. So he deserves even less credit now.
Give the Oscar to Nas.
So, Russ, just to wrap up here tonight, you had mentioned, after telling me several times how you were not interested in any new Batman movies, not interested in any new takes, and it's going to only be played one way. You ended up finding yourself at the theater and watching The Batman with Robert Pattinson. And just a few minutes of your thoughts, I would love to know. I haven't seen it. I'm still interested to see it. I'm not going to go to the theater at this point for 3 hours. I'll wait till I can stream it or download it or whatever I can do to watch it. But I'm interested to know. Give us just the high-level overview. What did you think?
Well, I think for anyone who watches our channel, they probably notice we don't really dive into Marvel or DC. We it's one of those things, me personally, I've had comic book movie fatigue for a long time, and I've just kind of ignored it all. Opportunity came to see this, and all right, I went in. I'm going to remove my bias as much as I can.
Okay.
It's not terrible. To me, it was very middle of the road.
Okay.
There are things that work in it. One thing that definitely does not work is that 3-hour runtime. And for what goes on in the movie, I don't understand why it had to be 3 hours. I really don't.
Someone I talked to said it feels like it ends over and over and over. Like when you think it's over, another part comes and okay, that's the ending, and it's not. And then you think that's over, but then it's not. It's just like keeps going. Is that accurate or no?
I don't even know if you could say that, because I know when you talked to me about it, you said it was getting compared to Seven and LA Confidential.
And LA Confidential.
Seven, I definitely see. The only LA Confidential thing I could grab is that they're dealing with corruption, mass corruption within a police department, which is LA Confidential as well.
Right.
But the Seven stuff is pretty upfront. But why it doesn't really work for me, it's because in 7, you don't know who the killer is. We know this is the Riddler.
The whole time.
So why am I watching a detective story for 3 hours where I know who the bad guy is?
Yeah.
I know who's doing this. Now, for all the fans out there who want Batman being a detective, less Bruce Wayne, him and Commissioner Gordon, you're getting that.
Yeah.
There was more Batman in this movie than Bruce Wayne, way more detective stuff than in any other incarnation. Again, though, 3 hours. It's like you're basically watching the same procedural thing over and over and over again. So they feel like, to me, the whole movie kind of felt like that. Not just the ending. That was. But.
And you have famously said that Batman's villains are the most interesting, and we've gone back and forth and like talked about them a little bit. As far as these villains are concerned, does that hold true? Number one, and number two, as I've kind of griped about certain villains in the past, like either their motivations aren't any good, or they don't match up to the energy that maybe like Batman's giving, whatever it is. Like, do you find that these are worthy adversaries to Batman? Or did they have good motivations? Were they just kind of blah?
Well, everyone's young, and that was one thing. I maybe it's just my age, but it felt like Batman babies to me. Yeah. It felt like what I envisioned the show Gotham to be like.
Okay,
honestly,
because the Riddler's like 21 and like Batman's like 25.
Young. Zoe Kravitz is young. Everyone's young in this damn movie. So, well, let me get on that. Yeah. I think everybody was pretty good. There was no.
Are they strong villains? Do you like the villains here?
Their portrayals?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me tell you this. Penguin, if you add up all the time with Penguin in this movie, I'd be surprised if it's over 5 minutes.
Really? He's the one I was the most excited to see.
You're not going to get anything.
I know. I wanted to see him.
There are 2 scenes where they go to question him, and then he does one thing at the... Oh, and then there's a chase sequence, which you saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then there is one scene at the end where he does something kind of integral to the plot. That's it.
Yeah, I was...
You're getting way more Catwoman than anyone else, and it's like the banter between them. I do want to shout out, there was one scene in particular I really enjoyed, actually, that involved Catwoman doing some like espionage, going into a club, and they put like a camera in her contacts, and Bruce Wayne or Batman is sitting there like, all right, ask him this and all. I like that. Yeah. It was kind of like tense. That was awesome. But again, there weren't very many moments like that in it for me. I understand why fandom will like it. Well, actually, it was our friend Roger explained to me why fandom will like it. Apparently, it does give a lot of shout outs, a lot of little clues and references to famous plot lines from the comic books. And we all know that the big gripe was like, let's see Batman as a detective. And God damn, you are getting more of that than action in this movie.
Yeah. The
action is uninspired. Matt Reeves, I'm not the biggest fan of. To me, he's a journeyman director. And that it's funny. We like, for instance, the DC movies like Batfleck, Ben Affleck, and all them, the Justice League, Batman vs Superman. I've never watched them, but I can clearly tell even by the trailers they have an identity completely separate from Nolan's. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
This one we're going serious again. So the Nolan comparisons, at least for me, they're on the table now.
Okay.
And there are parts in this movie where I'm like, honestly, it made me realize how good Nolan is.
Really?
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's one part where like he kind of like glides, flies off a building or whatever, and the whole thing is done like you're just seeing Batman close up, and like you kind of see the background of this stuff. There's no scope to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it made me think of Nolan. I'm like, there were so many shots in the Batman movies he did where it's just
like
grand.
IMAX, gigantic, like,
and this feels so much smaller in scale. And of course, I get it because of the detective aspect. But I mean, there are these moments which I felt like, all right, this is a big blockbuster action film. They don't soar. Yeah. And not in my eyes.
Yeah.
So like I said, I left feeling just middle of the road, dude. Not good, not bad. Just, I felt like if it was 2 hours or less, I could probably defend it a little more. But man, I felt like there were some things that just... Maybe let me know in the comments if I missed something. There's a scene that involves Alfred going to the hospital, and I swear, dude, we left him there. I don't remember him coming back at all for the next 4 hours of the movie, and this happened in about hour 6. No, for real, maybe I missed it. I mean, it's long. There was a lot to take in.
Yeah. Wow.
But I'll say this, for Batman fans, I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Movie fans, I think you're going to feel like me. It's middle of the road.
It's a long time. Does it set up a sequel? Does it
has to.
But did it in the movie?
Well, we got to know what the fuck happened to Alfred.
Batman 2. What happened to Alfred?
It reminded me about like Breaking Bad. All those jokes about leaving what's his name in the hotel room. Yeah, dude. Like, no, it's definitely setting up sequels. Yeah. It is definitely setting up sequels.
Gotcha. Well, at the end, so I guess after the movie released and, you know, all the reviews and stuff had come out, and even prior to it, they were always like rumors that the Joker was going to be the next villain. Mm-hmm. And like, I guess a few weeks after it had come out, they released not unearthed, but it was like a director's cut clip or just something of a scene with the Joker in it, where Batman goes to visit Arkham Asylum and he's basically talking to the Joker in kind of like a Silence of the Lambs routine where he's
kind of like the Dark Knight.
Yeah, like where he's got to go there. Kind of, yeah, he's got to like kind of fish information out of this guy that based on something that he might know, and he's like behind the bars or whatever. You don't really see the Joker too much. He's kind of always like out of focus just a little bit, but it's focused enough to where you kind of get a feel for probably what he looks like. And then there's the voice and a little bit of the laugh and stuff. It's only like 4 minutes long. But that got released so that people would probably get hyped up about seeing possibly this being the next villain. I just wanted to kind of share it with you. Like I said, it's not very long, to see what you thought, if you felt like this was any good, if you felt like it was in line with what you already saw.
Let me just say, I'm surprised that they cut anything.
I guess that's true.
Wow. Where is she? Where is she?
Yeah, really. Okay,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was.
I understand why they cut it.
Oh, there he is.
Tyler Durden.
They go for more of like a hip Joker this time around. His face is a little bit mangled, teeth a little mangled.
Bold move. Jared Leto went for the hip Joker, and he nailed it. This ICP Joker.
There's a serial killer. I want your perspective. First anniversary paper. What makes you think I come so cheap? I thought you'd be curious. You think I get off in this stuff, don't you? You have pictures.
This is like the best Batman movie I've ever seen. I don't know. What do you? I'll pause it right here. What do you think? What do you think about what you're looking at here? I mean, I actually, when I heard that there was like a clip out of the Joker, every time they're like, "Oh, there's a new Joker," I always think like, what? I probably kind of like how you're thinking. Like, what different can they do with the Batman? It's like, how, like the central core of the Joker is like this, you know, chaos or whatever, but like the look has always got to be something different. It's like, how many different ways are we going to change the damn Joker? And when I saw this guy, I was like,
at least there's different interpretations that we've seen that you can do with the Joker, and we cannot do it with Batman.
Yeah.
And oh, thank you for saying that.
What?
You're right. I stuck on that. Like, there are only a handful of ways to play Bruce Wayne and Batman. Robert Pattinson did not reinvent the wheel.
No, not at all.
Yes, it's moodier. It's more Kurt Cobain now, but it's the same damn thing.
Same damn guy. Well, I think this interpretation of the Joker, I don't think looks bad. I mean, I was like, okay, this is still something that somehow is different than what I was expecting. It's not like the whimsical Jack Nicholson, and it's not like the deranged, you know, like Heath Ledger or anything. It's definitely not Jared Leto's stupid ass. This guy, like you said, looks just like he looks like Tyler Durden, but he's like a little burnt.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna skip to here, and we can maybe hear him, see if he's got the signature laugh.
Why does Arkham make hair dye and makeup available to the inmates?
Is it tattoo?
Maybe he's got a grudge against you too.
Oh.
Maybe you're the main course. Any theories?
Is that McLovin?
It's that Barry Keoghan guy, but it could be.
But some
This should have been Joaquin Phoenix.
No,
So much
it shouldn't
more
have been.
to talk about.
What are you here to talk about?
I want to know how he thinks.
You know exactly how he thinks.
Have you read this file?
You two have so much in common.
I mean, this would have fit in
Perfectly.
with the movie.
Yeah, and I feel
mean,
like if they must be,
and I don't want to spoil anything, but there is
some Joker references.
something about the Joker in the finished product that exists now.
Wow. I'm still interested to see it, and I can't wait. Maybe when I finally do get around to seeing it, I'll share my thoughts with you. And I know you said you don't think I will like it.
I don't.
Okay.
Let's
We're-
place bets.
Okay, let's just say this before we close out. Where does it land for you on the Batman scale? Is it the lowest? Is it somewhere above any Nolan films? Are we above Joel Schumacher yet? Like, what are we talking here?
As a movie, for me, it's on par with Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
And
Bloated.
for those, but I'm kind to Dark Knight Rises.
You are?
For the most part.
You are.
So I'd put it right there.
Okay.
Middle of the road.
Okay. Middle of the road. Well, you heard it here first. Middle of the road is the Batman. The Batman is middle of the road for Russ.
Wait, I like it better than Batman Begins.
Oh, really?
That's more controversial, but
Okay.
I don't enjoy Batman Begins.
To begin with, I see. Well, I'll take a look and see. I do enjoy Batman Begins. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But that's all I think we got. Russ, I don't know if you had anything else.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that'll be everything for this week. Again, thank you for everyone for tuning in, liking, commenting, subscribing, keeping in touch with us, keeping physical media alive. Listen to us on Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Come back. See you soon. Thanks.